Pixies, Gigantic, started us off today. It's the Bennington Show. I'm Ron Bennington. There's Gail Bennington.
Yo.
And I'm Ron Bennington. Chris was trying to give us some Pixies trivia, and then Gail shot him right down.
Yeah, I tried to write a fun fact that Gigantic was the only song that allowed Kim Deal was allowed to write for the Pixies.
But she also wrote Silver on Doolittle.
God damn it.
And Chris was very upset.
Why would you be upset about that?
Because I thought I was like throwing out a nice fun. Oh, this is a fun fact.
Well, why don't you say one of only two songs?
Because I didn't know she wrote the second song.
All right, so the fun fact is you don't know anything about Pixies.
I thought I did. Now I just look like a moron.
I mean,
no, you don't. I think you get a little too hot under the collar.
You know, you could have just said, as a fact, she wrote this song. And then we would have went, oh, yes, we know that already. It would have been like mildly
Along with Silver.
You see, that has just been a fact. The fun from the fact comes from that it was the only song she wrote, from what I thought.
The reason I remember that she wrote Silver is because Frank Black made it the last song on the album. So in his mind, his album ends at the second to last track, and her song just floats on it at the end.
He didn't like the rest of the band. I picked up.
You know,
No, I don't think so. I don't know whether he doesn't like them or just doesn't care whether they live or die.
I think the second one's
Which
worse.
is good in a band leader, I think.
Just resentful.
Gigantic. Where do you think that ranks in like most famous Pixie songs? It's got to be third or fourth.
I would say it's second behind Where's Your Mind? Because it was used in like a car campaign a year ago.
What about Here Comes Your Man?
yeah, that's
That's really well known.
Yeah, it was in that movie trailer. I would say that's third. I would say it's Where's Your Mind? Gigantic, Here Comes Your Man.
it's your mind.
No, I don't think so. I think Gigantic is third. If I'm going to be totally honest. I mean, that even got covered for that fucking 500 Days of Summer.
Oh, I forgot about that.
People know that song. I don't know if a lot of non-Pixies fans know Gigantic.
Here Comes Your Man was also the name of that Paul Rudd movie. It was in the trailer for that, too.
Was it in
What
the movie?
fucking movie was this? I don't think I remember it.
Here Comes with Paul Rudd and Jason Segel.
What?
No, it wasn't.
That wasn't the name of the movie?
It
No.
sounds like when they're like,
I love you, man.
I love you.
Well, then the song was in the trailer then. And both that day I got confused.
Your fun facts are failing.
I was shitting the bed with these fun facts.
I mean, we're having fun with it, but not the way you intended.
No, I just want to be informative. Instead, I'm just dead wrong about everything.
Here comes your man.
All right, I want to point out something great that Chris did. Go over to the iBang. I want to see what the name of this piece is that you put up.
Dude gets scared of his life posing with Tiger.
Okay. Now, go ahead and look at the tiger. What is that tiger, Chris?
Holy shit!
Fuck me!
That tiger is a lion.
That's a lion, Ron. Oh, got the wrong big cat, Ron.
Fun facts.
I can't believe it.
Here's what's great about it. I was smiling coming all the way into work today.
Didn't realize it until right now, Ron.
No, you didn't realize it until it was pointed out to you. This would have went on forever.
Now, let's just say
Oh, fuck.
let's say you just said, oh, let's go to this video. You had a video of something, and then he pulled it up. Do you think he would have said that sentence, played the video, and still nothing
Yes.
would have happened?
There was nothing. He's a city boy. He doesn't know animals.
I don't know birds, I don't know fucking cats. God damn it. That's not one stripe on that motherfucker.
So, you,
Oh, God.
Check out this Puma video, Ron.
you're 0 for 3 already today with
It's
your fun facts.
fucking really bad. This is fucking a bad look for me. God damn it.
Hey, I know that you and Vito want to play the reopening song. You guys both done with that?
We're not done with it yet, no.
It was due 2 Thursdays ago.
Yes.
How about Vito? Vito, you ready?
I still want to do it.
When was it due?
A week or two ago.
You guys forgot about it?
Oh, no, I didn't forget about it. But, well, I probably did forget about it. I'll be honest.
Now, Vito, yeah, I know that you've been thinking about concepts, but they're not done.
No, I have like 2 different concepts in my head right now that I just need to meet with somebody about.
Get them out of your head, dude.
Who are you meeting with?
An allied force.
What? Why are you afraid to tell us?
Oh no, it's nobody's secret. It's just somebody in imaging.
Yeah.
But I don't want Chris to know my methods, and I don't want Chris to.
This thing doesn't even exist. This thing was due 2 weeks ago.
We had the initial round 1.
Which was a disaster.
Did not go as planned.
Not good for anyone.
All right. Gigantic. That's my voice, the lion voice. The lion sleeps tonight.
Tiger blood, Ron.
Hey, Sean, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Roddy.
Hey.
Man, Chris is like Costanza on Seinfeld. When he gets a little, Gail, I'm sorry, earmuffs. When he gets a little pussy, he goes all to hell.
What did he say? I couldn't hear. I'm on earmuff.
Nothing, honey. He didn't say pussy.
Pussy.
Yeah. Does that bother you when men act like...
Yeah, I hate it when men tell me, like, excuse my language, fuck. You're like, are you fucking kidding me? I really... It bugs me. But you know what doesn't bug me? The word pussy. So...
Pussy riot.
I prefer it. I use that word to my gynecologist. How's the pussy looking? Good or what? Tipped up?
I'm trying to think of this other fucking piece that was up today that I found to be interesting. I'm not going to go out and do this thing at Gotham tonight.
I know you're not well.
Chris Millhouse, he just doesn't think about who's sick. He just fucks away. He's been asking me to do this for a long time. It's a really good show tonight, too. But I don't feel well, Chris Millhouse. I don't feel well. You might be killing me. Oh, Raiders heading to Vegas.
So that's official.
That's official.
Yeah.
Now, they're not going to do it right away. They're going to wait a while.
2 years.
I just thought it seemed like
What's Anthony up today? He's writing stuff down during the show.
Yeah, he's just like shadowing.
He asked me to give him board lessons because he's thinking about making a move from promotions to somewhere else.
Whoa,
dude, great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a place to land?
Maybe a little bit. It's still in the preliminary stages.
Somebody we know?
Yeah. I just don't know much information yet, so. But hey, let's prepare, shall we?
Sure.
Right?
My suggestion is just press all those buttons.
That's what I was going to do. I'm just going to put all the faders up and hope for the best.
I thought that the company had sent him down here to spy on us and just write shit down. Seems like Vito doesn't do anything.
Chris doesn't know shit.
Gail said the P word.
Even to our gynecologist. So anyway, yeah, they're not moving immediately. The Raiders. To me, I just feel for the people of Oakland. They fucking love the Raiders.
I know. I don't.
That's all they have.
It's really upsetting that they would do that. I mean, I think it's always upsetting when a city loses their team, but that city in particular, just like they seem to have such like a solid fan base.
Yeah,
why are they doing this?
Well, because they can't get the big special fucking stadium that pays all the extra money, where you have booths that pay
$20,000 a game.
Yeah, that's actually even a low number.
It's fucking crazy.
And I think this is the last stadium that either hasn't had a huge renovation or a team that hasn't gotten a new stadium yet.
There's still a fucking baseball diamond on it. I mean, it looks fucking like you're looking
like
at 1973. You like it because you're not playing on it.
I don't see the people of Las Vegas just adopting this team and becoming massive football fans.
Whether they do or not, that's not my fucking thing. The thing is, it's the Oakland Raiders.
The Las Vegas Raiders doesn't sound right.
How would you raid Las Vegas?
Raider Nation's going to do it.
They should change it to the Las Vegas Rapers.
The funny thing is when you're in Vegas on the weekend, there is a lot of people from Oakland just hanging out. Like, yeah, there's like cheap flights from Oakland and LA, and you run into a lot of, I never run into San Francisco people. A lot of Oakland dudes.
Just a party?
I wouldn't say that. Mark wants to tell us this big Pixies story. Mark, go ahead.
Hey, man. Yeah, I was in a hotel in London with the band Motley Hoople, and we were at the bar, and there were three guys sitting at a table, and they came over to me and were like, hey, what's going on here? So I said, it's a Motley Hoople after show, and the guy introduced me to his friends, and he goes, and I'm Charles. I said, what are you guys doing here? He said, we're in a band. I said, what band? One guy goes, the Pixies. I said, you guys are in the Pixies? And the guy, Charles, looks at me dead face and goes, I am the Pixies. That was Frank Black.
Yeah, we got all that, but it's very rare that I'm going to hear a story that has both Motley Hoople and the Pixies in it and not be moved, but that wasn't a great story, dude. I got to tell you the truth. You want a little light on us.
Enough.
Yeah.
It's all about the Motley after party. That was enough.
First of all, I didn't think that there would be a world where both Motley Hoople and Pixies were live at the same time.
I didn't know they were bros.
I guess everybody wants to go to the after party.
Yeah.
I feel like fucking shit today.
You sound a little better.
Really? Good.
Yeah.
Good.
You're less coffee.
Well, I'm having hot tea, not coffee today.
I feel like the move for the Raiders is bad because I think the Raiders should be I see a Raider as a pirate. So I feel like a Raider can't be landlocked.
What are you, a child? Why don't you just fucking it doesn't matter what the name of any team is.
I'm just saying it doesn't make any sense. A Raider in the middle of a fucking desert.
What makes sense about a Redskin being in fucking Washington, D.C. and not out west?
There's still Indians, Native Americans down there around that time.
Washington, D.C.
Weren't there Native Americans over there?
When? When football started?
1700s?
No, they fucking pushed them out from Jump Street.
No shit.
You know the fucking East Coast, how quick they moved the Indians out. 0 for 4. You're like a lunatic.
You don't have many good facts today.
That's okay.
I'm running into a lot of walls.
But I mean, it doesn't matter what the name of the team is or how the home. I just feel bad that some kid in Oakland, his favorite fucking team is the Oakland Raiders, and that league doesn't give a shit.
They don't care. They just don't care about people.
Was that Jenny Hutt?
I think it was.
She looks different.
I only saw the back of her hair, but it did look like her hair.
She used to wave. She doesn't anymore. Oh, not baby anymore. Dude gets scared of his life posing with Tiger. It's my favorite fucking story.
It really made me happy.
Oh, boy. Why did I think that was a fucking tiger?
Oh, my God.
Anthony, why don't you jump to our team instead of one of these others?
Yeah.
Let's try to guess what team he wants to jump to.
There's no team. There's no team yet.
There's a player, though, right?
To be named later.
You just want to get back in radio.
Yes.
I don't blame you.
My roots.
That is your roots. That's the way you started. You were very good at it, too. That promotions is like a fucking nightmare. It's like a fucking hole you got to dig every day.
I mean, it's not that bad. It's just
It's an absolute nightmare.
It's a hellscape.
Putting up with celebrities.
You can tell the truth.
Who's the biggest celebrity you met there?
We had the Ed Sheeran thing the other day, and it was awesome. He was like really cool.
People love the Ed Sheeran. He might be the biggest musical act in the world right now.
Out of control.
He was the musical act when I went to SNL. People were going ape shit. Ape shit.
He didn't even like perform on a microphone. Like he took a seat and stood in the middle of Webster Hall and just played with no microphone. It was out of control.
Why couldn't you guys get a microphone for him?
That seems like a promotion for him.
He said he didn't like, it was just, it's equipment. That's got nothing to do with us. We put up the banners.
Seems like you should have been on that. So that was the biggest thing you've done yet?
So far, yeah. I mean, he's huge right now.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I can't believe how big he is.
It's only been around for like 4 years or something.
When I was in that audience, I would say it felt like a good 70% of the people showed up specifically for him.
I think that's always true of Saturday Night Live. Like the people that go and sleep for tickets and all that shit.
Yeah. Because
they're there for the musical act.
There was a lot of young people there going bananas for him.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I think the majority, when you walk down the street and see that crowd all posted up for the night.
Sleeping in the street.
Yeah, I mean, that's a young man's game. You can't pull that shit as an adult. It can't be done.
I'd go out of my fucking mind if I had to sleep outside overnight. I'd say, fuck it, I'm staying homeless then.
And then the worst is when it's like, when there's snow on the ground and like you see them, they've got their sleeping bags next to that brown city snow. Just like piled up next to them.
Dirt slush.
Just with like little patches of urine. And they're just like in their little sleeping bag with fuzzy slippers.
Well, let's be honest here. Most of that's dog urine. You know?
Yeah.
It's not people urine. It's very hard to pee outside in the city. They're right on top of you.
Yeah, it's hard. You gotta go piss like in an old phone booth. That's what I usually do when I have to.
When's the last time you know how many phone booths are in this fucking city right now?
I couldn't find a phone booth. If you told me, I'll give you 30 minutes to find a phone booth.
There's
and I ran
literally 4, and they're all on the far west side. I just saw this on Sunday morning, CBS Sunday Morning the other day. So Chris, acting like he pees in old phone booths, put that up there with the ligger that he claims that he saw today. Why would I say ligger instead of lager? Oh, I know. I'm dying.
No.
There's more and more of those, I don't even know what it's like a little...
Internet fucking kiosk?
Yeah, that's what it's called, an internet fucking kiosk.
He's just trying to help, you know. Come on. He's trying to climb out of this fucking hole.
My favorite thing is seeing, like, homeless people just plugged in there. And you're like, what are you...
Watching YouTube videos? I think I see non-homeless people doing it too. They're charging their phone, and then they plug their headphones into the actual kiosk, and they're watching YouTube videos, like reading shit.
There's one next to the stand, and I mean, there's no one who uses that. I'm out there all night having a smoke.
Nobody uses it?
Nobody stops and uses that shit. There's Eric Trump speaking for his dad.
What do you think he's saying?
He said dad was right to pull health bill.
Oh, that's nice. He stands by him.
Oh, yeah. Those Trumps stick together. I give him credit for that.
Do you think that's a direct... Did you think he said dad was right?
Yeah, I think he said
dad was right. He said daddy was right.
Creepy.
Who was it? Was it Reagan who used to call his wife mother?
I think so.
Was that Reagan? It wasn't Bush Sr.
He used to call her mommy.
Mommy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Ronald Reagan used to say.
Yeah.
Mommy is bringing me some chocolate milk later. And everybody was just like, ugh. But he started to lose his shit by the end of it. Like the last 7 years of his presidency, he had some kind of mental disorder. What do you call that? It's like Alzheimer's.
Yeah. Dementia or Alzheimer's or
It's
something
the saddest
like that.
thing that could happen.
It really is heartbreaking.
It's the saddest thing. And then you have this amazing life where you're an actor and a governor and a president, and then he couldn't remember any of it. Nothing. They said that he was looking at this snow globe that had a picture of the White House inside of it, and he's like, I know this should mean something to me. I just can't place it. And it was like crushing to me.
That's the most heartbreaking thing.
Yeah.
That's really, really sad.
Yeah, it's awful.
It was a huge fear of mine when I was a kid. Like Alzheimer's and dementia. The idea of like losing touch with reality and like your sense of self.
Not knowing what anything's happening around you.
Yeah.
I grew up with that.
Yeah.
My grandmother, so she lived at my house. So I'm like even now when I forget things, I'm like, well, here it goes.
Well, do you think that growing up around it made you more comfortable with it? Like you're like, oh, okay.
No, because it's not pleasant.
Yeah.
Like when you watch TV, like it's always like a little silly and fun, but there's a lot of paranoia and fear involved in it. You know what I mean? You think people are after you and stuff like that.
Right. It's not like you're just reduced to like childhood happiness.
Mm-mm. You get paranoid and you think that your grandson is taking money out of your purse.
Paranoid?
Yeah. Paranoid. It's not like she was going to use. What was she going to do? Go out dancing? Well, me on the other hand, I had things to do. I had debts to meet.
I think she'd be okay with it.
Look at all these things you have in here for me to plug, Chris. I'm not plugging any of them. How's that for you? All right? You fucking push me too hard, bro.
He's tired, and you know he's sick, Chris.
I know.
What is this thing about young men are obsessed with the pink Power Ranger?
All right, so GQ did this story on, because the new Power Ranger movie came out, and they brought up that on the internet, like men like in their 30s or so, they just keep up bringing up the original pink Power Ranger.
Kimberly,
yeah, Amy Jo Johnson, and how they're just obsessed with her from their childhood. But it's a woman that they can't get enough of.
Yeah, but yeah.
Vito, you know about this?
She won't do conventions anymore because the fans started creeping her out so much.
Let me take a look at her. I've never seen her. I'm not familiar with this.
She was definitely like she was blonde, right?
I didn't know there was a girl Power Ranger.
There were two.
Oh, two. Yeah, her and Trini.
Trini, the Yellow Ranger, who also happened to be Asian.
That's Amy Johnson.
So
that's just the love of their life because they saw her when they were little.
Yeah.
She was hooking up with Tommy, the Green Ranger.
Is this true?
Later to become the White Ranger.
Yeah, later. On the show, not in real life.
And then it also helped that, like, this was like the beginning of the internet, and there was some, like, nudes or topless shots, like, put out of her.
Were they real, or are they those
pretty positive they were real.
I doubt it very much.
Those fake ones from the early internet days where they were just like gluing heads onto things and they looked so obviously fake because they were never just like nip slips. They were always just like hardcore, like
spread eagle.
Just, shoving a fucking guitar into their vaginas.
Really?
But specifically, this was the picture I remember, like, finding on the internet back when things were thumbnails.
Yeah, I don't think that's real.
Pretty sure it's real.
Why would it be in black and white?
It was a classy thing she did before she became a Power Ranger.
Dude, how old was she when she became a Power Ranger?
Yeah, she looked like 17 years old.
I think they were in their 20s, the actors for the Power Rangers.
Oh.
And some of these are obviously fake.
Yeah, I mean,
all of them.
Clearly.
One, she's doing anal.
That's not real. And I don't blame her. People are asking her to sign the anal shot at the convention. That's not me for the 100th time.
Is there a lot of money in that conventions that she's turning down, though?
Yeah, but she has no interest in doing it because she got creeped out by too many people, which is hilarious.
Show up with some fucking security guards and, and make some fucking cash for yourself, Becky.
Well, there's some drama at these conventions. Like, the Green Ranger doesn't like the original Red Ranger, and he kind of, like, holds him up from getting spots at these conventions.
I don't even know what that means. Holds him up for getting spots.
Like, he
what are you saying?
So the Green Ranger is more important to the conventions because he brings fans in, and he dislikes the original Red Ranger so much that he tells them, no, I don't want him there with me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, you don't even know their names. You just call them the Green Ranger and Red
Jason
Ranger.
David Frank is the Green Ranger. The Red Ranger is Austin.
Wait, you know their real names.
Oh, yeah, no, their character names. Green Ranger's Tommy Oliver, Red Ranger's Jason Scott Lee.
Holy shit.
So you go to these conventions.
No, I've never been to the convention. I did see the new Power Rangers movie Friday night, though. That was pretty lit.
Lit is a good thing?
Lit's a great thing. We had some beers, went to see Power Rangers at 10 at night.
You're really maturing,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Now, I feel like, Kimberly Pink Ranger probably has all the pressure on her, too, because the Yellow Ranger passed away. So she's the only living female.
What happened to the Yellow Ranger?
Just a car accident.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Let me see her.
She was so cute. I loved Trini. She was my favorite.
Well, you must have been crushed when she died,
it was really sad.
When did this happen?
Like a long time ago.
2001, I believe.
Jesus. There's like a doom thing around her. You can see it,
Mm-hmm.
You feel like you feel a dark presence.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad. I didn't see it then. I was just so wrapped up in the Megazord.
Megs was
So it
pretty
sounds like Vito is #1 Power Ranger fan, followed by Gail. Chris you seem to be pretty clueless other than finding nudes. And Jen, this is all just white people nonsense to you?
Yeah, I'm not a big Power Rangers fan.
You didn't like Zach?
No, never really watched it.
It's the one black Power Ranger.
That's just mean.
Yeah.
He also
Now that
happened
I
to be
know
the Black Power
it.
Ranger.
First of all, I mean it's mean that there's jokes that I don't get. Did you have the toys, Vito?
Yeah, I fucking had the Megazord. I had every Power Rangers toy. To this day, our favorite ornament in my house is the red Power Ranger. Even though I look at myself as more of a green.
I thought it was the bobblehead Conan.
No. That's just like like Christmas ornament. We have different kinds of toys and bobbleheads. We got baseball bobbleheads, Conan bobbleheads.
Apartment. I mean, it's an Upper West Side apartment.
He was just listing his bobbleheads like it was
You know
fucking bubblegum shrimp.
He's like the fucking movie Big, but he didn't even switch with a kid. But you literally act like Big.
Oh yeah, no. When this new Power Rangers movie came out, I was really excited. Me and all my best friends texted each other, made plans to go see it.
Really? And weren't their moms wanting them to get to bed at 8?
No, we got a late curfew for that night.
How much money did it make? Did it make money?
Yeah, it made a $60 million international on a $100 million budget opening weekend against Beauty and the Beast, which has been just dominating the box offices.
That's crazy.
I heard people.
Just movies are just for children now. They're not for adults at all.
I heard some girls talking down the hallway, and they were like, did you see Beauty and the Beast? And the girl's like, no, I'm going crazy. I need to see it. And she's like, go now. Go. It is so good. It's just like, run. It's like, get me out of here.
I saw that movie too, and I love that as well.
I don't know why anyone would want to see it as an adult. Were the girls that are across from our office, was it them?
No, it was like, I didn't recognize them. There's a lot of girls around here, young ladies that I don't recognize, and then I feel like I never see them again.
Yeah, I don't know what happens with them. Sometimes they'll just see people in the studio. They look totally comfortable. You know what I mean? They look like, oh, they've been there a while. They're not like, oh, how's all this work? They're just fucking, and then I'll never see them again.
They are actually doing a show that, I have no idea. And it's true. You'll just see them, you go, oh, is this some sort of a new show? Nope, you don't see them again. Where are they from? What are they doing?
I don't know. I don't know what happens. The fucking stations pop up and disappear. I can't keep up with it.
There's young ladies running around here. Nobody knows who they are.
There's apparently a fucking Beauty and the Beast fucking station we're running.
Plays the soundtrack 24 hours a day.
Was that also a play? Beauty and the Beast? Did they do that on Broadway?
There was a Broadway version.
So let's see. It was a book. It was a Broadway musical. It was an animated musical. And now a fucking real life musical.
Yeah.
They're just making tons of money off this stupid story.
Of Beastiality.
Does she fucking bone him at the end?
Yeah, it's an implied boning.
When he's a beast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
He doesn't get out of beast mode.
He doesn't?
No. He's a beast.
I don't remember this at all.
What's that?
I don't remember what happens. I just know there's like a beast monster, and he's with this chick.
Yeah, you thought that there was some kind of spell on him. No, there wasn't.
Wait, so whoa, hold on. He doesn't become a human again? She's just banging this beast?
He never was a human. He was just a fucking beast that lived in the fucking sewers like
She
a
has a
shitty
fetish.
fucking beast. Yeah.
This is a fucked up story.
The whole story is about a girl who, is finally acting on a fetish she always kind of had.
Wow.
That's the beauty of it.
Mm-hmm.
You're
That's
fucking going for it. That's the beauty of the beast.
And the beast is the crazy sex they have.
Yeah, and the beast fucking just gets right into it too. I mean, he just fucking brings it.
I
like
would.
No human.
That's why it's doing so well.
Yeah.
So
Everybody goes to see that is beast mode. And
that's why all these girls in the hallway, this is like the new 50 Shades of Grey. But it's way more
what's sick?
serious.
A lot of fucking women, and they showed this on TV, are taking their dogs to the fucking movie.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
It seems like they're jacking them during the movie.
I didn't think you can even allow a dog into a fucking movie theater.
You can in certain
Well, yeah,
ones.
for certain ones.
All
For
right.
beast
They
mode.
do
Yeah.
comedy shows that people bring dogs to.
And they're just jerking these dogs off. This is disgusting.
I don't know. It's in the dark, Chris.
Yeah,
I can't fucking say for that. But why else
that's
would you bring an
hearsay.
animal? You know?
Someone's got to stop these fucking people for bringing
Oh,
dogs.
I'm sorry, Mormon. What do you want to do? You want to fucking turn around and tell other people how to live? You're on that fucking pig run that you do every night called Tinder.
Some of these ladies are fine. They're not all pigs.
And then you feel comfortable sharing about your ass play. Let them do what they want to do.
I was asked a question about whether or not I was doing anal. No, just ass play. I had to explain.
Nobody wanted the specifics, though.
Hold on. Eric says there's more. Hey, Eric, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Bennington. Hey, if you remember, in the late 80s, early 90s, there was a Beauty and the Beast knockoff TV series that was set in New York City.
Oh yeah, what was that called?
Oh, yeah. I totally forgot.
My girlfriend at the time loved that show.
Yeah, it did very well. It was the same guy who did Hellboy.
Oh, Ron Perlman?
I think Ron Perlman was the guy.
I remember
He was the
that.
Beast, yeah.
I was very little when it came out.
Yeah.
What was the name of it? Was it just called Beauty and the Beast?
It was Beauty and the Beast, the TV show.
That's what the name of it was? Beauty and the Beast, the TV show? That can't be it.
Beautician and the Beast is a way better name.
And then the Go-Go's did Beauty and the Beat, and everybody fucking loved that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, he looks, all right, in the TV show version, Ron Perlman, the Beast looks more like a cat man. And now what's the Beast supposed to be in the fucking movie?
He's a beast. He's part beast.
Just this is a generic animal. Like, cause he looks like a cat in the fucking TV show.
Well, the thing is, it doesn't matter what he looks like, right? He's a beast.
But I want a clarification of what kind of beast he's supposed to be.
He's not a talking fucking dog or a talking cat. He's a beast. He's a one fucking creature of his own. And, the humans won't accept him. So he's forced to go down in the sewers and meet fucking broads in Central Park. And every time he does it, it's doggy style. And she was like, can't you once just do it missionary? He goes, I don't even know what you're talking about there. It doesn't even make sense to me. He also doesn't use a toilet. You'll just see him crouched down.
He's got to do that weird little dog crouch.
I'm surprised he got a chick down to the sewer.
Why?
I don't know. It's a sewer. I think most women would want to go bang a beast monster in the sewer.
I love
every
that
chick that's with you is with a beast.
I love this, in the TV show here, the 80s, he had to have, 80s hair metal hair. It's like, how can we make this beast attractive to women in the 80s?
No, you are right. That is definitely fucking a hair farmer. A fucking rockin' hair farmer.
Now, Chris, does that look like a tiger to you? You said it was a cat.
It could be a tiger or a lion. I'm not sure.
Don't dig yourself another hole, dude.
I don't see any.
Stay out of the fucking pit. Do whatever you can do not to fucking be held into anything. Chris Steele says, you think Chris would know mythical creatures being one himself?
It's true, I am a centaur.
I'm glad you embraced that.
I have a bow and arrow, live in the forest.
And they're rough on you about this tiger stuff.
Really? Are they? I thought they'd be understanding. I thought they'd be nice. It's like, look, lions and tigers. You get mixed up.
Never.
Never once. I get my beast modes mixed up.
And this is just said about Chris.
No.
Did that fucking dummy just say he went to the beginning of the internet?
I can't remember if I've said that. I probably did. I probably said that.
You went right to the start. And that's where you found those Kimberly nudes.
I meant to say when the internet was becoming popular. When everyone was on AOL or Prodigy online.
Liz Sets Fire said, just cleaned my intestines out for a colonoscopy. Going to fill them back up with La Spada. Delicious.
It's a little bit more information than I needed to know, Vincent, but go right ahead.
That's the right amount of information that I have to know.
And it was Beauty and the Beast, a complete series, not the TV show.
It wasn't called the complete series when it came out. It was just Beauty and the Beast. That's all.
You're looking at a box set.
Please, I can't. What's wrong with him today? Like, I'm actually getting concerned.
I know.
Like, he hasn't said one.
It was called Beauty and the Beast Volume 2.
He's trying to correct himself, and he just gets dumber.
I think it was called Beauty and the Beast Episode 1.
Must be about airplanes. This one's called Pilot.
See, what we're saying is things that you would say, Chris.
Yes, I got it.
Do you? You're starting to be madness.
Tiger.
I might even want to send you away to somebody. I don't know who.
Like what kind of doctor? Like a therapist or mental institution?
Yeah, I don't know where we would send you, but somebody that could help you.
Would you go away for a stay?
No, I wouldn't. I mean, you'd have to be forced.
You wouldn't.
And I would try to escape too if I was forced in. I would try to escape.
And
I would show up
like
here.
out a window. You're gonna hurt yourself.
Hey, this is, to me, good news, bad news. Good news, Cash Cab is going to be roaming Manhattan.
Nice.
Bad news, no Ben Bailey.
What?
Yeah.
Then it is not a cash cab.
Thank you.
It's some other kind of thing.
It's going to be like a rotating cast of TV and movie people.
That's a huge mistake.
I know, just one you need Ben Bailey to be the guy.
First of all, they got to have a hack's license, right?
Yeah, so all these people are going to have to get a hack license.
Now, who's all going to be doing it?
They've only announced that David Steinberg is the executive producer, but they haven't announced. They just said there's going to be.
Wait, David Steinberg, the comedy guy?
Yeah.
Well, the comedy guy is comedian. That's the word I'm looking for. David Steinberg.
And I
love David Steinberg.
And all they said about the drivers is going to be stars from the worlds of comedy, film, and TV. That's the only. They didn't say anyone specifically.
To me, Ben is the star of comedy, film, and TV.
Yes.
I don't think if I got into a cash cab and I saw it wasn't Ben Bailey, I wouldn't trust it. I'm like, what is this?
I would think it was a pedophile trying to take me to the end of the fucking park and do something to me.
I loved that show so much. That was one, like, in college, all my friends would, like, gather around and we would play Cash Cab and we'd be like, we've got to figure out how to get on this show. Cause it's a fun game and, like, with a group, like, if you have, like, 2 people, 3 people, you're like, I feel like we could put our heads together and make a decent amount
Plus,
of
they
money.
weren't really hard questions.
That was the great thing about it. It wasn't like when you're watching Jeopardy and you feel like an asshole.
Well, the first fucking thing in Jeopardy, you can pretty much clear the table. Second round, you're in fucking real trouble.
Yeah. It's really difficult. And I don't think I've ever got, like, what's the final question called? It's got, like,
Final Jeopardy?
Yeah. I don't think I've ever got a Final Jeopardy
I always
question
like
in
when
my
there's
life.
something you're like, Happy Days for 400, please. Like something that's very easy for you.
Yeah.
The Philadelphia Phillies for 800.
Big cat.
I would go nowhere near that.
That answer would be lion.
Shit.
What game show do you think you would do best on?
I feel like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? I tried to get on once and I almost made it. I think I'd be good on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
You think so?
Yeah.
Again, I'm thinking you're getting a couple questions in. But, like, halfway through, it does get difficult.
That's when you use your lifeline.
Exactly.
But they changed the game. I don't even know if it's still on TV, is it?
I think Terry Crews hosts it now.
Who would you pick as your lifeline? Call phone a friend.
Dude, I'd be sitting there with a laptop ready to fucking go anyway.
Fuck yeah. It's like, Rod, start searching for this. This is the question.
The question is Power Rangers. Name all the Power Rangers.
Oh, God.
Ron will definitely know this.
Yeah, you'd be pretty pissed you didn't pick me at that point, huh, big boy?
You know what? Go to hell with your Power Ranger obsession.
I always thought Family Feud would be fun because Family Feud is like It's just understanding basic principles of people and their preferences and personalities.
Yeah.
Like what people would say. It's not like an actual trivia question. It's like, what do you think people would say?
What's popular?
And then you get to do it with your crew. The dancing.
You had to say double entendres that Steve Harvey finds hilarious.
What is your favorite trivia game show?
Mine?
Mm-hmm.
The fact that any kind of trivia is involved in it, you can't get outside of Jeopardy. That's the king of them all. Now, it's not my favorite game show, but, and there used to be a game show called Trivia Pursuit, and they couldn't make it work. And that was the game. That was the game that America was playing all at one time, Trivia Pursuit.
Yeah.
But they could never make that work as a TV show.
But that was like the party game, Trivial Pursuit. Like as a kid, I feel like at any kind of adult gathering, at some point, Trivial Pursuit came out. And I was very annoyed because I was like, didn't know anything. And then they would be like, "You're on my team." Like, but I'm not contributing.
First of all, you didn't need to be playing anyway. You should have been in your room like any other child would be. Not fucking hanging around acting like you wanted to ruin Trivial Pursuit.
I liked adult hangouts.
Now, was there a board for Trivial Pursuit, or was it just asking each other questions?
Yeah.
Are you drunk? Yes, of course there's a board.
Yeah, you
I
know
never played game.
the pie pieces.
You can sit around and ask. You never saw Trivial Pursuit.
I've seen Trivial Pursuit, but I didn't know there was like a board. I thought it was a box of questions, and you just fucking ask.
Well,
them.
you never saw the thing. You haven't seen it at all. You haven't seen the pie pieces that you put in the circle?
No, I haven't seen this.
You don't know nothing about it.
I know you ask trivia questions.
Yeah,
that
but
doesn't mean that. You can say that about any game.
Each pie piece is like, like pop culture for one color, I think, is like pink.
Science.
Green is like sports or something.
All right, so if you get a sports question, you move up to the sports.
Yeah.
stuff.
So
my God.
No, the idea is that you've got to fill all your pie pieces, and you've got to answer one correct in each genre.
A lot of people will just sit and ask each other questions with their things, but, who gives a shit at that point? The answer is, every sports question, the answer is Joe Namath.
It's always a good bet. I guess Joe Namath?
Correct.
Let's take a break here, kids. Bennington.
Welcome back to Bennington.
Thanks.
Comedian Trisha Bates is in studio. Trisha's podcast, She's Just Awesome, is available now on iTunes, and Trisha's performing at 8 p.m. this Friday, March 31st at the Greenwich Village Comedy Club. Go to greenwichvillagecomedyclub.com for tickets, and on Twitter, it's at Trisha_Bates.
And Trisha has joined us in the New York black. We're all just dressed in black today. Thank you very much.
Like our souls. I just bumped into V down the hallway, and she was just like, "That's the Gail I know, all black." And I was like, I like that as a reputation.
You got to wear black in New York City.
That's all I wear, except I'm usually covered in dog hair as well.
What kind of dog you have?
I have a little puggle.
Now, Gail, what is your dog?
She is most likely a Spaniel American Eskimo mix.
You don't know what you have?
Yeah, I don't really know exactly.
She's like a rescue dog.
She is. She's a rescue dog, so I don't know.
Mine is as well, but I've decided to just say puggle because it turns into a longer conversation when I try to explain to people.
But if you don't tell people it's a rescue dog, they'll hate you. You have
Right.
to. It went from what a nice thing that you've done to how dare you.
Have anything
How
but.
dare you not rescue somebody.
But then also the self-righteousness of like, well, he's a rescue.
He's a rescue.
He is a rescue. Yeah, I also throw in that she was a pregnant teen on the streets because I think that
She was a rape victim.
she was a rape victim, and I could tell, like, it was, she wasn't consenting. Like, when I could see it in her eyes. Because she's still jumpy around other dogs.
Is she?
And I think, like, it's like a little post-traumatic
That
stress
dog
for her.
loves people, hates dogs.
Yeah. She looks at every human like a savior. She's just like, oh my God. She would go with anyone. Like,
Right.
she was just like, as much as I love our connection, I also think she could have that connection with literally anyone.
That's the way I am with your mom. In the same exact way. I don't believe in the one special person rule. I think that's the craziest thing that we've ever taught children, by the way.
I think it really
that there's
puts
one
people up.
special person for you.
Oh, I've given up on that for sure. Yeah.
But you should, because it's way more comforting to go, There is not one soulmate walking this earth, and if you don't find them, your life is ruined and you could be with the wrong person. Look at a huge crowd of people and be like, there's probably a dozen people in this crowd that I could spend my life with, be perfectly happy with.
Yes.
And we would just be like the best of friends for life.
Go to a football game and look at the entire audience and go, there's probably some people in here that would be a blast to hang out with.
Yeah.
I was having a conversation with somebody about this. They asked me what percentage of men I thought I might be attracted to, like in the entire of New York. And I was like, I don't know, maybe like 2%. And they were like, yeah, if you think about it, there's only probably like 300 people in New York. Reasonably you could date.
Right. But that's for women. With men, it's about 99% of the people that we at least find to be acceptable. Because Chris, you go on Tinder, and you just swipe until someone picks you.
Yeah, exactly. Until matches come, and then I talk to them and hopefully convince them to meet me in real life.
But women would never do that. Women would never just swipe.
No, I have been with female friends who have Tinder, and I got to like pick for them, and they're much more choosy. If I have Chris's Tinder, I'm just going right on everything because I know he's going to be fine with it.
Oh yeah.
I never think, oh, did I say yes to someone that he won't feel?
But I think I see that also goes to show you how tough women are on men. That you think that only 2% of the men are attractive enough to be dateable.
Well, there's for women, men are only looking at the physical. Women become attracted to men because of so many other reasons, I think.
Yeah, I would never limit a woman to personality. That's mean.
That is really big of you. Yeah, but I mean, if you're out and you see a guy who is attractive, like you're just like, oh, that guy has some interesting bone structure. But I don't sit there and go like, wow, what is he about? You know what I mean? Like the way I think like men do. It's just like walking past like a really nice looking building or something. It's not like you have to live there. You're just like, that's beautiful. And I'll just keep on walking.
I walk to work every day and I watch how many men pass a woman and then turn around to look at her ass. It is so common.
It's crazy.
In New York.
I mean, there doesn't even have to be an ass there. I've been wearing like full puffy coat and men will catcall me. I'm like, you can't even see what's under here. I mean, I'm not saying it's not nice, but but you don't know.
You don't know. It's a puffy coat.
But that goes to show you get puffy coat cat calls, but the second it's just like short jacket weather, they're fucking insane. Because they haven't seen curves for months.
I know, it is a shocking thing when spring comes in.
And like, God forbid, like they can see an ankle. It becomes that you're like, come on, this is like, I walk down the street all the time. And like, we're gonna like play this game, like, whoa! And you're like, it literally just is slightly warmer than it was.
What is the worst thing that men say on the streets of New York?
Oh my God. I mean, there's so many, just like general calling you mommy, that there's always the like telling you to smile thing. A lot of girls really hate that one.
I would hate that.
Yeah, it's weird. And I know guys get like very touchy about it because they think it's like friendliness. That they're like, oh, like sometimes they're just like, hey, like have a great day, good morning. They're saying stuff like that. But do you say that to men? If you don't say it to men, if you're walking around saying good morning to everyone,
I would never say
then
it.
I'll go, okay, maybe you're lumped into a category of...
Vito, do you ever talk to women on the street like that?
No, I would never talk to a stranger in the street like that.
Never.
But he made it sound like because it was dangerous for him.
I wouldn't talk to a guy or a girl in the street like that. Like I don't think any New Yorker that's like a natural thing for us.
No, you got to hang around Sherrod then, because Sherrod crowd works the city of New York, and I watched him do it. I watched him just talking to people as they come by.
Yeah,
he's just the same all the time.
The weirdest catcall I ever got, I used to live on McDougal, so I got like a lot of weirdness happening on McDougal Street, which is like the center of comedy in New York. But the weirdest one I ever got, this guy was crossing the crosswalk and he turned around and I saw him out of the corner of my eye turn around and he just goes, I bet you don't shave. I was like, I'm in my pajamas walking my dog, sir. How could you possibly know that?
It was just his own hope, his own thing.
Like, was it just a taunting to see if maybe you're like, I'll prove that I did?
No, a lot of guys, that's their thing though.
Right.
Like, women don't realize that a lot of guys, and I'll just say, and without giving out his name, Big J. Okerson, but it's the only thing that he really enjoys.
I wonder who it was.
Yeah. But what a weird thing to say.
That's strange.
Now, I wonder if people got weirder because of the internet, where you could just say strange things. Now they've taken it, or has it always been a New York thing?
I don't know. I think catcalling in any, like, urban setting has always been pretty common.
Never a country setting. Never where you be going past, like, a barn and Amish people yelling shit out.
Like those dungarees!
Yeah. Then there's, like, the weirdly polite catcall. Have you ever gotten, like, a weirdly polite one? It's like, I'd like to take you home to my mom. It's like, well, that was nice.
Yeah.
I'm confused.
My mom has worried about me for quite some time. And I feel like if I took you home, it would make her feel better.
I have an old roommate who, she was quite a voluptuous woman, and heavy set. And this guy, on the street, she was wearing a skirt, and this guy was just like, I love your thighs. He's just like all like irritated that he said it, and she just kept walking. And he's like, and I bet no white boy ever told you that. She's like, well, that is true. You're right. I'm a bigger woman, and you're right. No white boy has told me of all the things to like about me, legs was not the thing.
It's become a great option for bigger women.
Yeah.
Than
it's
now
classic,
that the races are accepted, unlike the 1960s and 70s. That all the races, it is open up for that. Well, you only hang out with black dudes, right?
Yeah, black and Asian dudes.
Why Asian? How did that fit in?
I don't know. They're just part of our crew.
And do they all like big girls?
The hooder black dudes I know, they like bigger girls. But my two best friends, the 6'8" black guys I've told you about, they really like model like tall, skinny girls.
Yeah. That's hard to find.
Yeah, what about medium-sized? Like a size 6.
Who may or may not shave.
One of them is branching out more, so.
When you see an actual model walking in New York, 6'1", she's tall, she's thin, you're just like, that isn't even like any human being I've ever met before. It's like if you just saw a dolphin walking down the street. It's that odd.
You'll be on the train and you see like models, because you can always tell, first of all, they look very alien-like.
Yes.
And then also they look like someone else dressed them. Like they get to, a lot of times, just keep the clothes that they were like shooting in that day or whatever. Yeah. And you're like, those don't look like clothes I've ever seen in a store. And then you have some sort of an alien face, which is pretty.
Yes.
But like the way a praying mantis is like beautiful in a weird way.
Well, weren't all of them considered ugly until the last moment, and then they became a beautiful model.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they do have an insect look that just suddenly becomes beautiful.
Right.
At the last second. Who was the model that came in here that was almost too much for us to deal with?
Arena Shayk. She was on the cover of Sports Illustrated a couple of years ago.
And she was dating famous.
She was dating Ronaldo, and I think she's dating Bradley Cooper now.
Yeah. She was almost too attractive when she came in. It was almost uncomfortable for all of us.
Like saccharine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like a cake with too much icing.
That's exactly it. I felt like there was no cake. It was just icing. It's like I just bit into this giant bowl of icing.
Yeah.
Now you, go ahead and plug away, Chris.
Trisha Bates is in studio. Trisha's podcast, She's Just Awesome, is available now on iTunes. Trisha's performing at 8 p.m. this Friday, March 31st at the Greenwich Village Comedy Club. Go to greenwichvillagecomedyclub.com for tickets, and on Twitter, it's at Trisha_Bates.
Now, Trisha, this podcast is about what?
It's about women in history. Mm-hmm. It's actually not really a comedy podcast. We both, me and my podcast partner, Pamela Fila, pick a woman in history, and we tell her story on the podcast. So actually this past week, I did Mom's Mabley.
Love her.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Love her.
which was really fun to do.
And Mom's was, first of all, one of the funniest people who's ever lived.
Yeah.
But also, way out in front of the lesbian and cross-dressing thing.
Yeah.
Like decades before anybody else could pull it off.
Yeah.
Which goes to show you how much confidence works. And she didn't do it on stage, but afterwards she put on a suit and went out and,
That's very cool.
Yeah. She was just great, man. But truly one of the funniest people that ever lived.
Yeah. And she was the only woman in the game for a long time. And she's like not that well known. Like she would have been around the same time as people like Bob Hope and Milton Berle, and like people know those names.
Right.
I feel like a lot of people don't know who Moms Mabley
Well,
is.
she worked the Chitlin circuit and all that, but she started playing like the part of Moms when she was like in her 20s, and then kept that going.
Until she grew into it.
Yeah, until she grew into it. But no one has ever saw a performance that she ever did and didn't think that she just killed. And also was doing kind of race material before anybody else, was doing, the cops, making black people feel uncomfortable.
Right.
When no one else could do it, because she did it behind this character of this old grandma type.
Mm-hmm.
She was great. All right, if you were to throw one in, Chris, who would you pick? Woman in history.
I would pick.
See, this is it. He has one woman,
not one woman
in history.
This is why we're doing the.
And it doesn't have to be entertainment, right? It could be like history.
Anything.
No, yeah. I mean, next time we've already decided who we're doing. Next time we're doing Joan Crawford and Betty Davis. Because there's some movie coming out called Feud. They apparently had like epic beef with each other.
Yeah.
So
I'm watching it now, and it's
TV,
really
it's TV,
great.
right?
Yeah, it's a show, a series, and
do you dig it?
It's very fun. And I think the best way to do it is first, if you haven't seen it or you haven't seen it in a long time, watch Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, because there's so, it's a lot of like what was happening behind the scenes while they were shooting specific things and making it really difficult for each other and all the kind of,
because they were just so competitive.
Right. And it was really also the director and the producers pitting them against each other. Like, yes, they had that in their personalities, that they were like kind of a bit competitive with each other, but they made it far worse and were like leaking stories that the other one to kind of make the performances that
Who's
much
playing
more.
these characters?
It's Susan Sarandon and Jessica Lange. And
those two alone.
I know.
I might pick them as my women. Jessica Lange, I have always been in love with.
Yeah, she's so beautiful.
She came in and did the show one time, and it was crazy. And then her life, like she was one of the, like when she came to New York, she was just like one of those people that was just like living in an apartment that they had to hook up the electricity to, Like she had no plans of being a big star, but just coming to New York to be an artist when people still did that.
Right.
Now it's like, I've got to come to New York and try to survive with the rent. But back there, the city was more dangerous back then, but you could live here.
Right.
But you didn't want to as much.
No, but there was some amazing art that took place. Art that took place in the 70s. I could read about 70s New York City forever. The amount of phenomenal things that were happening here. The fact that you had punk, disco, and hip-hop all at the same time. You had street art, the invention of the comedy club, SNL coming in. I mean, there was just any type of thing that you looked at in the arts, New York was on the cutting edge with. And then, now you're like, okay, it's safer, but what are we doing?
Yeah. You lose a lot with that.
Well, that's why I loved living on McDougal, because you kind of felt like you were still living back then.
Right.
McDougal has so much history to it, and still a lot of those places are there. I lived right across the street from Cafe Wah and Comedy Cellar, and it kind of feels
that's
like
almost too much.
Yeah.
It's almost too much there. Now, what brought you to New York City?
Law school. I'm a lawyer. And then I just stayed and started doing comedy. I moved, I kind of ended up doing it because I moved on to McDougal Street, and I just fell in love with the whole little world. It's such its own little subculture. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, I need to be a part of this immediately.
How long have you been doing stand-up?
Only about a year and a half.
Yeah. You're brutally funny, man. Your set that I saw you do at the stand was crazy funny.
Oh, man, thank you.
But that's, but you're still working in law.
Yeah. I walked down here from my office.
So weird.
It's crazy.
So what's the dream?
What's the dream?
Yeah.
The dream is to, is to write and to do stand up.
Yeah.
I'm always trying to write something, but it's difficult to do between my job as a lawyer and mics and shows and podcasts and dog and
Right.
and friends and family.
No, there is a lot.
Yeah.
There is a lot when it's at this stage of your career before you can just say it's just comedy. But it's also a leap to go, okay, I won't do law even though I've studied it.
Yeah, there's
For so long.
there's that rent problem that you were talking about.
Yeah. But you're so damn funny. You're such a good writer.
Oh man, I love it so much. I mean, just I've always been the kind of person that doesn't have a filter between their brain and their mouth, and just getting up in front of an audience and just being able to bare your soul and turn it into something funny every week it's like the best gift in the world.
It's great.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of law do you practice?
I'm a litigator and internal investigator.
Oh my God. It seems very serious.
Yeah, I spent my morning, researching releases from litigation and so forth. Exciting stuff.
I could never do research. I feel like the only kind of law that I could do is threatening people. I feel like that part of it would be good for me.
Just yelling, "I am the law."
Yeah, like we're going to burn this shit house down. Like if they ever needed somebody to come in and make the threats, I would be glad to do that. But the researching just seems so difficult to me.
Yeah, a surprisingly small part of the job is threatening people and screaming.
Sad.
Yeah, you'd wish that it was more, but it's mostly researching extremely boring parts of the law.
Yeah, because you'd think from TV, you're just like, you get in front of a jury and you're just like, I'm just going to go for this.
Right.
I'm just going to find this thing.
I lightly prepared a monologue and then I'm just going to wing it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the jury, I implore you. Look at me. This man, just get it. But that's so rare that you get to that point.
Yeah. I thought the law would be more exciting because of all the TV I watch. But it turns out it's mostly filing papers.
Who was the New York lawyer that was like the ACLU guy? I'm trying to think of his name. I had his daughters on the show before, but he would be like handling everybody who was downtrodden. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he did the Chicago 8, and
Right.
he did the Indians at Wounded Knee, and he went into the prison when there was riots and was working for them. And I'm like, well, there's a kind of law I'd love to practice. Just being a superhero for people.
Yeah, that would be delightful. The people I represent are not necessarily bad people, but they're not like the innocent, wounded ones.
Right.
They're like all corporate people and so forth.
They're the worst kind of human beings. They're just the worst. But you're hoping stand-up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's like 1,000,000% the dream. I'm still just trying to get to a place where I can talk myself into it. And just like get okay with being evicted from my apartment, just like get okay with that.
Yeah.
Well, when I was watching you do your set, I immediately thought, and I never say this about anybody, but I immediately could see you doing the Tonight Show or Colbert or something. You know what I mean? You have your presentation, your look, everything was nailed down. And the fact that you're only doing it a year shocked me.
Can I get you to write that in a letter to my mom?
I would definitely do that. I would have no problem.
Just
no
give her a
problem doing
ring.
that at all.
We're all really proud of her here.
Well, there's certain people that you look like and you're like, oh, that person's hysterical, blah, blah, blah. But then there's other, some people just seem like they have the whole package for TV. There's a friendliness to you. There's the smartness to your material. Obviously, you're easy to look at. You look like a TV person.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Great.
No,
Am I the next late night show host?
I could at least see them putting you on and giving you that shot. And then what happens from there can happen.
Can't wait. Somebody give me a call about this. Here's my cell. No, just kidding. I won't.
Do you feel like you would take that now? Or would you say, oh, I'm not ready? If somebody said, okay, we got a Tonight Show lined up for you.
I mean, how do you say no to that? Do I feel like I'm ready for that? No, I wouldn't even want to go onto like a really big audition just because, I mean, in the realm of comedy, people always say it takes you, it's like the Outliers 10,000 hours theory, you know? It's just like, I haven't put in enough time yet. I've only been doing it for a little over a year, and you just feel like you got to pay your dues first.
I don't believe that's true, though.
Really?
And I never believed in the 10,000 hours.
Really?
Because here's the thing with the 10,000 hours. They try to use the Beatles, right?
Mm-hmm.
None of that has to do with writing songs. You know what I mean? Like, they were playing in Germany all that time. But that doesn't lead you to be able to write a day in the life, you know?
Yeah.
I think that 10,000 hours is the craziest thing ever. And we all repeated it as if it's real.
I think he also came out, the author Gladwell came out, was like, yeah, I'm not sure if that was right, like years later.
Thanks a lot, Gladwell.
Well, first of all, he's got to stop looking like Sam from Sam and Jimmy. Because he's got a frightening look. Wait, that made Sam feel like he has a frightening look. But I don't know if I agree with that. Because if you look at Eddie Murphy, he just walked out at 19. Chappelle, everybody who saw Chappelle when he was young said that kid's got it, you know.
I think some people do come out, whatever their art is, just kind of fully realize. Other people grow. I don't think it's like across the board. But I was kind of having that conversation with Emma Willman about this idea that, you know, you might get an opportunity too early, right? Like you're not ready for it, but somebody has decided to take the chance on you. But it's not really up to you to turn that down. You know what I mean? Like you can't, because you never know when that thing will swing back around for you, or if it ever will again. So you can't really be in the position of saying, yeah, I totally want to do that, but I want to do that like 2 years from now. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, every comic has their own thing. Some comics make me so nervous. Like you hear about Jerry Seinfeld, like he'll do the same material like hundreds of times and he'll have it down to like exactly what word he wants. And then I heard some other kind of younger comedian talking about how she has a spreadsheet of all of her bits and like the length that they are and then like sound clips of them and like laughs that she, like the level of laughter that she gets. And I was like, oh my God, I can't handle that you're even doing this. And just other comics saying like, oh, I gotta get my type 5 down. Every time I get on stage, I'm like usually doing new material. Right. I'm just like, I like do some of the same bits over and over again, but I feel like it's not real. And so every time I get on stage, I like have to throw in new stuff. Or else I just feel like I get up there and I'm like lying somehow.
This is a lie. Hey, I was just driving here and I thought of this today. You ever people doing that?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a phony.
Yeah.
These are not unique thoughts that are happening right here before you.
I love when someone takes something that I'm sure was great when they wrote it, but it's so dated now, and they try to remind you of what was happening at the time. You're just like, I know that story from somewhere.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
You guys remember Lorena Bobbitt, right?
Yeah, right. They'll do stuff like that.
Yeah. Now with like Twitter, it's like, you know, Twitter wasn't around when certain stuff happened. They're like, we need to go back and make a joke about the Golden Girls. Right. Because it wasn't around when there was Twitter.
Tom in New York.
Hey, Bennington.
Yeah.
I think the name you may be looking for was Alan Dershowitz. Is that right?
Alan Dershowitz means nothing to me. I was thinking, I got it now. It was William Kunstler, the great William Kunstler. Yeah.
I apologize.
No. I could see why you would say Dershowitz, because a lot of people like him, but that too pro of an Israel thing for me, I just can't hear about it all the time, Alan. I gotta tell you the truth. We gotta do something with the Palestinians. We just can't keep hating them. But Kunstler was the guy that I was thinking of.
Yeah.
And he just had the most... First of all, the Chicago 8 trial is one of my favorite things of all time because they just went apeshit.
Yeah.
They were just jumping up and down like monkeys in the courtroom. And it was... and they chained one of the guys down and gagged him. And then he went to that Attica thing, which was... You know, there was like guards came in just shooting those guys. Then he was at Wounded Knee. I think he finally got to go to the Supreme Court. It may have been over a flag burning case.
Really?
Where it's like, you know, I always laugh when people get too upset about flag burning anyway.
I don't get it.
No, it never hurts me.
It doesn't make sense. There's no reason to get
I kind of hate flag burning more when I see other countries doing it. More than when I see Americans doing it.
I don't think that there's any reason to get upset about it. Like, go to the beach, somebody's wearing a American flag bikini. How is that like? It's like, oh, she's honoring the country across her tits. So, you know what I mean? Like, or like, you know, if you drew a picture of the American flag and then crumpled it up and threw it away, would you feel bad about it? It's just...
I remember when I was in first grade, though, I was obsessed with any of the flag rituals. Obsessed.
Yeah, I actually still remember, because when you were in the safety patrol, you also were in charge of taking the flag down every day and folding it up. And I still remember, like, the proper fold for a flag, because we were, like, really excited to hit that grade where we could do it. And then actually we got in trouble later for putting the flag at half-mast when one of our teachers died.
You took it upon yourself?
Yeah, and we're like, this is the best way to honor him. And we got in trouble. They actually, you know, sent us to the principal's office, and we're like, look, a lot of people grieve in different ways, right? Like, this is ridiculous.
That's not
and
bad.
they're like trying to explain that this is like you know, you have to get the national thing that you're going to actually
I
do
think
this.
it's adorable.
I think
kids
it's
would do
cute,
that.
too. We thought it was pretty cool.
I think I see flags at half-mast all the time, and I'm like, what happened? And I try to Google it, and you can't figure it out. You're like, what's going on?
Yeah, because they'll do some just for local people. Some it's like a federal. But then, like, there could be, like, somebody that just died around here.
Right.
But I don't think they ever do it for teachers. But I remember that when we were, like, in first grade, we were constantly trying to tell our teacher that the flag had scratched across the ground and we would need to burn it or bury it, you know, in accordance. And she's like, no, dude. You're not doing this. We don't have any other flags.
It's been defiled.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's not good anymore. Trisha Bates is in studio. Trisha's podcast, She's Just Awesome, is available now on iTunes. Trisha's performing at 8 p.m. this Friday, March 31st at the Greenwich Village Comedy Club. Go to greenwichvillagecomedyclub.com for tickets, and on Twitter it's at Trisha_Bates.
Where's your favorite clubs to work in town?
Well, now I live right by the Stand, so so I'm loving that. I'm just like a few blocks away from it. And then I do Greenwich Village Comedy Club. I'm trying to think. Where else do I like?
I think it's great that you just keep living near comedy clubs.
Yeah. It's like my main criteria.
Yeah. Now, does your family come to see you, too?
Oh, God, no. I hope they never do.
You would never be able to look up and see your family there.
Oh, I mean, I would have to like really tailor the material.
Do they know that you're doing comedy?
Oh yeah, they know. They're very concerned about me. I had the strangest conversation with my mom the other day. She's like, now this is coming from your father. This is not even coming from me. I'm not being negative. I'm just saying if a man comes to see you do comedy and he actually appreciates how vulgar you're being, that might not want to be the man that you want to be with, but also if he doesn't support your comedy, you can't be with that man either. So I'm like, so you're saying I can't be with a man at all at this point. It's basically quit comedy or die alone. And then they also think I'll never find a man because of my dog. My dog hates everyone, men included. So basically at this point I will die alone covered in dog hair. But I think that's good for material.
Yes, it is. It is good for material. But I also love the fact that even though you've been through law school, you're working as a lawyer, they still don't think you have your shit together at all. And they talk to you like you're a child, like about dating.
Yeah. I mean, someone goes through law school and then also has an interest and has like a goal in life.
And I'm keeping the dog alive. I mean, I feel like I'm doing well.
Yeah.
But every conversation I have with them, I leave like, wait, how old am I again? Oh yeah, I'm 29. I can totally make my own decisions. But I forget. They still very much have power over me. My dad did my taxes for me again this year. Got a confirmation email from him last night. Thanks, Dad. Thanks for taking care of that.
Yeah. There's a closeness to that, you know, whether you like it or not. He's doing the work for you. He's there.
Yeah, and I do trust them more than anything. I mean, I'm very lucky with them. I guess there are some people. I mean, you guys clearly are tight and trust each other.
I wouldn't trust him with anything.
But I also,
not my taxes, that's for sure.
I also don't worry about her the way your parents worry about you. I don't know if that makes me a bad parent.
No, I think you're doing all right. I think you're doing all right.
I always thought, go make some mistakes.
Yeah. You were pretty comfortable with the idea of making mistakes. Mm-hmm. I don't think you've ever said like, look, I'm concerned with the way things are going for you.
No.
Even when there's perfectly okay to say that.
Right. Well, you were never like, I don't know if you were ever edgy, you know what I mean? Like, really out there.
Yeah, I was a pretty good kid.
Yeah.
I had, like, normal, probably, rebelliousness, but never, like, probably at the level of, like,
Right,
oh my
you would
God,
have, like, blue hair, or like, oh, you're really doing it out there. I didn't like the tattoos, though.
Yeah, tattoos and piercings both did not go over well.
Well, the piercings bothered me less because you can fill that back in.
Yeah.
But the ink under the skin, I never got a...
Yeah, he wasn't crazy about it. And
it just felt like you're stuck with it.
Yeah, and I remember the first time I got tattoos, they're on my hips. So I was like, this is not going to come up, and I might never get a tattoo in a place that anyone could ever see it. And I had been home. It was like summer or spring break or something. I was home for 8 minutes, and I like stretched, and everyone was like, "Oh my God!" And I was like, "I can't believe I couldn't even hide it. Like I've been in this house for 10 minutes."
Yeah.
But yeah, like
none of us were ever big hiders in our family. Though.
No, it was. I remember, like, and even if I did hide something, like, it would only have a shelf life. Like, when I started smoking, I hid it for a while until I was like, look, I'm chain smoking now, and there's no way for me to hide this.
Yeah, I wasn't even allowed to bring people to the house that had tattoos or piercings. I remember one time a guy walked through the door and he had an earring, and my mom just gave me this look like, nope, get him out of here.
Really? For an earring? Where'd you grow up?
North Carolina. But we lived in Alabama for a while. My parents are from Oklahoma. They're very Southern conservative.
But you beat the accent. You're not dragging the accent around with you.
I don't really have one anymore, and people ask me if I'm like purposefully not having an accent, and it definitely comes out sometimes after one beer, because I'm a total lightweight, or when I'm like on the phone with my mom, people will all of a sudden be like, who was that person?
Right. Yeah, right.
And I'm like, that's my other self. It's my Southern self.
No, I get that when I go back home too.
Yeah.
And, but I've moved around so much that there's not one clear accent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there's bits and pieces of annoying things from all over the place. You know?
Yeah, I think I have that as well. Like, I think even, I was born in Florida, so there's certain words that still sound probably Southern to some people, but there's too many weird influences and moving around, and you having been from Philly, and like there was like all this different kind of stuff, having family with like strong accents that were very different from each other. Mm-hmm. I think it's not even definitive, probably.
Yeah, I think that's why, because like a Texas accent's different from an Alabama accent's different from a North Carolina accent. So by the time I was in college, I was like, I give up on trying to decide what I'm supposed to sound like.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Washington and Lee in Virginia. It's like a small liberal arts college. Also super preppy.
So you've been conservative right up until...
Yeah.
Now you're doing this crazy thing.
I know. Came to law school in New York. I actually worked for 2 different Republican congresswomen. And then when I moved to New York, I was like, ooh, guess who's liberal now? And everyone else in my family is Republican, or I guess now my brother voted for Gary Johnson. He announced that at Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was super fun. But yeah, I do some like political, liberal material, but I didn't do it, in the set that you saw because my friend that works for Trump was there. So I was like, I'm going to avoid this argument after the show. And not do my political stuff.
Well, it is odd that conservative and comedy never have gone hand in hand. There's a couple who, but it's a rare thing. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I guess because, most people that are comedians live in city centers. City centers are all liberal. The main, comedy hubs are LA and New York, which are liberal cities.
Right.
But I don't know why, because there are other comedy clubs in other states with other comedians.
I just don't know whether you could do comedy. I like things the way they used to be. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that works. I like the church and I like the established ways of doing things. It's a hard thing to pull off.
Yeah. I just don't think it would be. Plus, what are the conservative tenets? I don't know if it's funny to be like, Yeah, let's get rid of the EPA. I mean, I guess you could do a funny bit about how the environment is not important. I don't know.
That's getting gutted, I think, today.
I
the
think
EPA stuff.
Even if, and in the cases that it does work, a comedian who is conservative, they do have to be like fighting the good fight. It becomes more difficult in a situation where it's like, you have the White House and the Senate. I think it becomes less fun.
Oh, right.
Like, it's easier to be like, am I the only guy who's normal here? Like, that you can kind of do, but it's not easy when the country leans right.
Right.
And then
you got the Senate, the Congress, and the President.
Right.
Am I right, guys?
I mean, everything's going pretty well for us.
Although we still couldn't do the thing we set out to do, even though it's just us. That's hard to believe, isn't it? That they couldn't pull that off.
You had 7 years, guys. Yeah. What were you doing?
7 years.
I'm not sure. It did seem like they were pretty shocked by it. The Trump camp. It did seem like.
Well, the Trump camp believed in Ryan.
Yeah, and Ryan looked just
he didn't
like.
deliver. Well, if you've worked for Congress, you know how.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is like, when you work in Congress, like I was like the front office person, I was like nobody, but like most of the time the people either aren't there, they're like back in their districts, I don't know, reading the newspaper, I have no idea, or they're like taking 15 minutes with like 15-minute meetings with various people, and then they're like on the floor for a minute, and then they're like at a meeting for like an hour, but I'm like, I have no idea when you guys like actually get stuff done. Like,
right.
So I mean, that's why it moves so slowly. It's because half the time they're in recess, and the other half the time they're like running from meeting to meeting.
And trying to get reelected, and that comes up all the time, and raising money. It's really, really tough. But you were in D.C. during all that time. So that can get addictive just being around that environment. You know?
Oh, God, I couldn't get out of there fast enough. I was like, oh, this is terrible. I was actually a legal assistant for a year before that at like a really big, scary firm that was like pretty miserable. And then I went to work in government to see if I'd like that better. Better hours. Worse though. Like, just like the most outdated technology. Like, we were still faxing stuff. I was like, why are we doing this? I have to fax something? And then one time I accidentally faxed something like with a sticky note on top of it to the congressman's husband, and he faxed it back. I guess he didn't realize that he'd be faxing it back directly to me with a note on it that said, "What kind of idiots are working for you?" And I was like, "Just me, sir." I'm fine. But yeah, and then he asked me one time, I remember the same guy, we were in the car together and I was telling him I was applying to law school. And he was like, "Oh, where are you applying?" And I was like, "Oh, like UCLA, Fordham, NYU, places like that." And he goes, "Liberal schools." I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Get me out of here.
I always like that egghead thing that they get. You know what I mean? Like, you got these Ivy League people. Really? You think our smartest people, they're the people that we mock out.
They're just shit, aren't they?
Yeah. All the people that you'd want to copy off of when you went to school, you now want nothing to do with.
They're garbage. Trisha Bates is in studio. Trisha's podcast, She's Just Awesome, is available now on iTunes. Trisha's performing at 8 p.m. this Friday, March 31st at the Greenwich Village Comedy Club. Go to greenwichvillagecomedyclub.com for tickets, and on Twitter, it's at Trisha_Bates.
So great to have you stop by. And again, I just think that you're terrific. I just
thank you so
think
much.
that, but now that I find out I'll never be able to see that set again. But I'm expecting really, really good things. Anything we can ever do.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, this was fantastic.
We'll be right back, Bennington.
Welcome back to Bennington. Comedian Liz Miele's in studio.
Yay!
Liz's album, Mind Over Melee, will be debuting today at 3 p.m. on Raw Dog right after Bennington, and the album is available in stores and online. And she'll be headlining the Rockwell in Somerville, Massachusetts, Thursday, May 11th at 8 p.m. Go to rockwell.org for tickets.
Well, it's exciting the album just rolls out today.
Yeah, it's so weird because you'll get tweets now at like midnight, and you're like, I'm not ready to respond to that.
Yeah, I'm not.
Because I had it on pre-order for like 2 weeks, and then people were like, it just showed up, and I'm just like, well, I'm not ready. If it's not nice that you're gonna say, I don't want to go to bed feeling sad.
Right.
So it was like one of those things. Like I saw the tweets, and I was like, I'm not ready for that. But yeah, I don't know. It's funny. Like your second album, I didn't realize until people started tweeting at me that they're like, it's your sophomore. Like, I hope it's good. And I'm like, oh, I didn't.
Right.
So you think that way for like musicians. Like they come up with this amazing album and then everybody scrutinizes the second one. But I'm like, I'm a comic. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
I was like, I hope nobody cares. That'd be upsetting if they cared.
But sophomore album does sound like a cool thing to hit.
Sure, it does.
It's my sophomore album.
It kind of means that you're in the business once you've done it the second time.
Yeah.
The first time's the lark.
Yeah, no, first time, it's kind of like, well, I did it. And because a lot of people is like, I did it and I'm done. And I mean, as you do the road, you see a lot of people live that life where it's just like, I wrote an hour and this is my hour until I die.
Yes.
But, I mean, I get sick of jokes so quickly. So it's like, for me, it's exciting. Like I'm sure you had DC Benny on the show.
No, never have had him in.
What?
Never have had him in. I know, it's crazy.
What? Had DC Benny on the show. Yeah. He's actually going to be on my album release show tonight. But he's a really good friend, and we did this show. It was actually like a really fun packed show. It was like Jessica Kirsten, DC Benny, Mike Racine. It was really fun, but really bad audience. So everybody was just bombing, like DC killed, but we're all just bombing left and right. And so he's being really nice. I bombed so hard and he was just like, you always have new material. I was like, that's nice, but it didn't go well.
Yeah.
So it's like, you can say I'm always writing, but if it's not good, then you're just a person that writes a lot. But yeah, you definitely should have DC on the show.
Where was this show at?
This was at a bar show in the Lower East Side. I can't remember. It was like just one of those, whatever. Like when she handed me like $20, I was like, I want to give this back. I don't get paid very often, very much, but this one I think I should just. But yeah, I mean, that's the nice thing about the city is they'll have these like star-studded packed shows that are just. Yeah. Yeah. And you're just like, oh, I should bring my A game. And I didn't.
Yeah. Just thought, hey, I'll try out some new stuff.
Yeah.
But there's very few other art forms that people can fail in public. Like once you get your songs, if you're a rock band, you know what I mean? If you're a rock band in 82, you know you've got 5 songs that can get you through.
Yeah.
With any crowd.
Like how many failed situations does like even an actor get, a director? I mean, a director gets 1, it seems like, if you don't have a successful, but yeah, when it's live performance and you get to do it all the time and you get to like, it makes those kind of moments less terrifying because you're like, well, I'm going to be up again tomorrow.
I've started to feel bad for actors, and I don't really feel that way all the time. But like sometimes, a movie, like you don't know it's bad until after, you know what I mean? It could be edited terribly, and now your name and face is attached to it. At least I know every night that it's the words that I came up with. I know how they're going to work. Sometimes they don't work the way I want them to, but it's in my control. And as a control freak, I've started to realize, like, that's a little scary.
Yeah.
This idea that you could work on something for 3 months and then it comes out and people are like, you're the worst. And you're like, no, I was the best.
Or how easy would it be to, like, pick up a script, say, this seems like a good story, and then walk on a set and be like, I can already tell this is not.
Yeah. I don't know when most of the time they do find out. Because I can't imagine that you put $100 million into something that you think is going to be crappy, and yet most movies are pretty bad. I watched the Ben Affleck movie last night, The Long Night, or We Sleep at Night, or whatever.
I think it's Live by Night.
I like you're just gonna let him struggle for a while.
I was just like, I know this guy's made good movies before. This is a crazy movie. Like there was voiceover who was going to that, and then after that we beat the KKK at their own game. And I'll go like, why would you bring up the KKK and then they're done 5 minutes later? It was insane. And I'm watching this and I'm like, I know they must have really thought that they had something big. They thought they had their own Godfather. You could tell that they were trying to do the Godfather. It made no sense to me.
That was his passion project. Like he was obsessed with making that movie and it just got destroyed. And it sounds fucking crazy.
It sucks. I mean, like it's got to be just like a couple factors and things just get out of hand and nothing jives. You know what I mean? Like,
well, it was from a novel that Dennis Lehane that they all the Boston guys love.
Yeah.
Right? And this was only in Boston for a minute. And then he went to Ybor City for the next 3 hours, I think, of the movie. But you're like, they must have loved the novel and like wanted to put a little piece of the novel on every page.
Yeah.
And it just got too big and muddled, you know? I didn't care about any character.
Yeah, I think it just has to get scary. You're like in the middle of making a movie and you're like, this might ruin me.
Yeah.
Last night I just saw Nocturnal Animals, which I meant to see a long time ago.
Right.
And I feel like if I had seen it earlier, I would have thrown it in the mix of good movies that came out last year. Like
Really?
I thought it was decent. Like I would put it in like the top like 3 or 4.
I would put it with good trash. It was trashy.
You thought it was trashy?
Very trashy.
No,
And it also didn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense.
What's it
I
about?
mean, there was huge leaps of fate. It was, the guy who directed the film wanted to show, he's Tom Ford,
Yeah,
right?
Tom
The
Ford.
fashion designer. So he kind of wanted to show a savage, rapey Texas back to America that made it somewhat sexy and dumb and violent and frightening
Yeah. And it's like a story within a story where,
in a story.
yeah, like, somebody's reading a novel and then you're watching the novel unfold and then also finding out about that woman's life in the process.
And I don't even know if the connection was all there for me at the end.
You weren't into it?
No, not the deep connection that we were supposed to have. But it was very David Lynch.
It was Lynchy for
Yeah.
sure. And like the scenes like were creepy. It was like one of those things where I'm like, I should not have put this on late at night.
Right.
I'm just like laying in bed like I'm going to have nightmares now. I hate that.
Yeah.
Cause I'm very sensitive to not just like obviously like horror and like slasher kind of stuff, but it's just like anything creepy too late at night. And I'm like, all right, so sleep is ruined.
I can't do anything if anything is real, like if it could actually happen, I can't do it.
You can't.
I can't, like, I can do supernatural, I can do, like, ghosts and
Yeah.
goblins and zombies, but if it can happen, I travel.
Like a murder story.
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
travel by myself late at night as a tiny person.
I can't do anything where something happens to kids.
Yeah.
If anytime I'll see the thing, when his daughter is kidnapped, I'm like, nope, don't want to watch it.
Forget it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm one of those things I'm just like, it has to be a giant person fighting something that's not real, and I'm like, this is such a good movie.
Do you ever worry on the road? Because you travel all kinds of strange places.
Somebody has to freak me out. Like, for the most part, I'm okay. Like, you take precautions, like, just as a tiny person. There have been a few times that somebody in the audience has freaked me out, and I've asked somebody to walk me to my car.
Yeah.
I've definitely been too scared to pee before. Like, you do little things. Like, it's like well-lit, gas stations. Like, I won't stop at anything that isn't like one of those like huge Wawas or Sheets.
Right.
I'll get freaked out like just on the subway late at night if somebody just kind of looks at me too much. I'm like, I have a 10-minute walk home. Like, this isn't.
Yeah.
So the only time I get really freaked out is like I have like all my, it sounds silly because I've never used my weapons, but I have like a safety cat, which is pretty much brass knuckles that look like a cat. And I have my pepper spray. And then I have a lot of rings that I think are somehow going to protect me. But like, when I'm in New York or anywhere that I can drive to, I have those. But then you fly somewhere, I can't fly with that stuff. And all of a sudden I feel really vulnerable, even though I've never taken them out, nothing, you know what I mean? But I don't know. There's certain times where I feel very aware that I'm like this tiny person. And there's other times where like, I'm never like stupid about it, but like, I do like, I look at all it takes is one scary movie and you look at every scene of your car before you get in it.
Sure.
Yeah, like I when I'm tired, I can't sleep on the side of the road. Like all my friends are able to like pull into a gas station and sleep. I can't do that. I'll just drink all the coffee and go through. Yeah, I can't. But I mean, it's hard. I think because I've been doing it forever, I take the precautions, but all it takes is one situation to freak me out, and for like a week,
Right.
I feel like.
So isn't that weird, Chris? I bet, have you ever had a thing where you were weirded out by?
Never.
Me neither.
Not once.
Isn't that?
That's so
but you're both like
strange.
you're
I know.
big guys, like,
Yeah, I know.
and it's like it's funny because like I've heard a couple of guys friends been like jumped or robbed in New York
Yeah.
City, and it's like one of them was like a big fit guy, and he looks like, and I was like, wow, they're getting bold, man.
Yeah.
Because usually we're the ones that get picked on. If you're gonna,
No, it's true.
you know what I mean? Like I had a friend, she's now an LA comic, but you know, same height as me, tiny Asian woman, and you know, got robbed, and it's just because they're just like, yeah, well, it's like, you know, you always go after like, you know.
Well, anybody could be robbed, but the thing is, it's that anxiety.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's as bad to live with that all the time, to think that those things could happen. But Vito, do you ever think that way?
Like only once, like if I'm leaving like a bar or a club at like 4 a.m. and it seems empty out and like I'm drunk.
But never done.
Yeah, because you're vulnerable.
Yeah, because it's like if at 4 a.m., like, I know I'm inebriated and I know I couldn't take care of myself, like, that's a scary thought. Like, if somebody did attack me, I wouldn't have any control of my body. Less than I already do.
Being a woman is just like being drunk.
Yeah,
all the time.
I was literally thinking the same thing. Because I've been full sober and I'm like, I feel very vulnerable.
Oh, yeah, it's very common. Little do they know they're going to get the safety cat.
Yeah.
When you were on my podcast, you taught me about that, and I was like, I can get one of those things. They're kind of badass.
I bought it for, like, everybody. I'm a huge fan.
Well, would you ever consider carrying a handgun?
No, I'd hurt myself. Yeah, I still think I'd hurt myself with the weapons I have. I'm not a gun person. I definitely would shoot like a cat or something. Like I would really ruin it for everybody. They'd be like, and this is why women and New Yorkers shouldn't have guns. Like I would literally reinforce it. Yeah, I didn't grow up like that. I think it really is like how you grow up. I grew up in Jersey. I don't know if my dad has ever even seen a gun. Like we're just not. I feel the same way about sports. I'm like, we're not a family that does that.
Don't do sports at all.
Sports and guns.
Yeah.
Chris, you do Tinder, right?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
And
what does that have to do with guns?
Well, I was just saying, you thought one night you thought it was a setup.
Well, yeah, I met this woman through Tinder, and she was just pictures. There was no description of her profile.
And you're like, I'm in.
She was 20 years old, and she was Albanian from like Brooklyn. And I thought that she was setting me up because she said she can only meet between 7 a.m. and noon between Wednesday and Monday. It's like she couldn't do me Tuesday. So I was like, this is weird, but I'll see how far it goes. And then she started sending me all these like fucking videos of her like blowing other dudes and like playing with herself.
But you thought that there was going to be a guy that was going to jump out of a closet.
Up until...
I like how none of this, like, even though you thought it was a setup, you were just like, I'll just tell a friend where I am.
This was worth the risk for him. I don't even think you did you?
No.
No, we didn't know about it until after.
Up until the moment she was in the, like, even like 20 minutes after she was in the, I got a hotel room, met her like at 10 or 11 a.m. on a Saturday. And I thought that there was going to be a knock on the door 20 minutes after her going up there with her Albanian boyfriend to beat the shit out of me.
Yeah.
And I still took the fucking risk. And it turned out to be okay.
Yeah, I'm happy for you.
I've never seen her again, which is probably a good thing.
A buddy of mine did have a situation like this. This is like all before like online dating. This was probably like maybe 8 years ago. But he met a girl at a bar, 5-floor walk up. So this is impressive on everybody's part. But they were like fooling around in the bedroom and he had the door shut. And while they're fooling around, he hears something in the living room. And so he's kind of like, what is that? And she's like, no. And they're like, make it out. And he's like, no. And he throws her off and there's a guy stealing his TV and his stuff. And my buddy's like not a fit dude.
Wow.
He literally wrestled this guy. There's like an arm went through the wall and he was able to get them. I think they took his computer, but they weren't able to but like while they're making out, this was the whole. And then she reached out to him a month later to be like, hey. And he's like, you took my computer. Like, are you nuts?
Well, let's not stand in the way.
Yeah. I mean, we still had a good time.
Yeah.
Chris, how long till this happens to Chris? How long till somebody...
If it happens, it happens.
Exactly. And that's the game I'm playing right now. And in fact, they're not going to get a lot out of my apartment.
You're a nocturnal animal.
You are. You are a nocturnal animal.
It's fine. I'm playing the game.
These are good stories. This is good.
Yeah, that's what you have stories. If nothing else, you get stories.
You live through it. Yeah, but I think it's bound to happen. I'm shocked that setup was not more scandalous. I mean, it was pretty scandalous in itself, but that there wasn't somebody waiting for you.
Well, the fact that you...
how are you able to focus thinking that you might, at any moment, someone might knock you over the head?
Like, after 15 minutes, I was able to just get the jitters out.
Yeah. You're like, this activity's really relaxing. People should do it more.
Exactly.
Is there a part of you who thinks that you had sex with a mentally ill person, obviously?
Yes.
Does that make you somewhat of a bad person?
I felt bad afterwards.
Okay.
I did feel bad.
That's how you should feel after all sex. Any good sex should be left with shame.
But yeah, I felt bad because as soon as she got into the room, she started crushing up Adderalls, and then we're just snorting Adderall as I'm waiting possibly for her fucking Albanian boyfriend to just fucking roll me. I was like, all right, if I want to get fucking robbed, might as well get high, I guess.
I do like this, like, first year college shenanigans that you have going on in the middle of your life. You're like, God, I hope my heart holds up. Let's do it.
Yeah, you really aren't. Like, you don't have what I would call an Adderall heart right now.
Oh, great.
But we do have your, like, short story album title, Adderall Heart.
It's not a bad band name either, actually.
I thought it was either, and when she got out of the car in front of the fucking hotel, I was like surprised that she wasn't with another person. Like I didn't give her my fucking room number. I wanted to meet her outside first, because just in case, see if I get myself out of this if something fucked up happened.
But I do think it's interesting. You said it is like a freshman year. Much later in your life.
Yeah,
it's like that thing when you like hit that point where you're like, I'm going to go fucking wild for like a year. And then later you go, Jesus Christ, what the fuck was I doing? But you get that as like a serious adult.
That happens with men a couple times in their life.
Yeah.
It usually happens after heartbreak. Who hurt you, Chris?
Oh, well, you had a big breakup. Right?
I was with a girl for like 8 years.
Yeah, I could have told you that.
And then I took a year off. From women and drinking, like 11 months. And then now, in Christmas, I started fucking going a little nuts.
Yeah, no, that all makes sense.
And women and drinking, just like similar for some reason. Like he puts that in the same pot of addiction.
Yeah.
Well, he couldn't
They
date.
both got me in some messy situations.
As soon as you got your Tinder date, you immediately went and got a bottle and started drinking.
Yeah, a bottle
right?
of Jameson, yeah.
What would have happened if you would have tried to have a sober date?
I don't know.
You couldn't do it?
I was like, I can't do this. Not after fucking 8 years of being with the same person, then a year off of just fucking being sober and not seeing anyone. So I just figured, I'll just fucking hit this bottle a little hard and then go see her. It worked out all right.
Seems like it did.
Yeah. You guys are still together, are you?
Oh, no. That was one and done.
But it does seem like things have cooled a little for you.
It's been like a week and a half.
I know, but you were going crazy.
I know.
I mean, look, for a normal person, I wouldn't say that was cooled.
Yeah.
But you were like, every other night there was a new bronze.
Well, then I kept matching with 18-year-olds, and I made a
That's
promise.
on you, dude.
Isn't there like parameters?
Yes. He has been told to change his fucking settings so many times to just avoid children, really, is all. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you can't be with a younger woman, just not someone who is barely legal, as they call it.
Yeah, there was
there's a whole porn site.
There was this one girl
He goes to barelyillegal.com. Just errors on the other side of it.
Well, there was this one girl who said she was 18, but her first message to me was that she was 17. And then she's like, it's okay, I'm legal. And then I had to unmatch her because I didn't want to go to fucking prison.
And because it's wrong.
And it's wrong.
By the way.
And it's wrong, yeah.
Just helping you fill in the blanks there.
Yeah.
Thanks, Gail. I'm going to add that next time I say it.
Yeah. I like how you just have like a copy-paste message. It's wrong. I have to unfollow you.
This is wrong.
This is both wrong and illegal.
Yeah.
So that's what we're saying. There are big differences between men and women.
Yeah, I see that.
We'll get to that.
Aside from just the biological.
Yes.
I don't even know if I would want to talk to an 18-year-old, let alone touch them.
Yeah.
It does nothing for me.
Well, I'm just trying to be on, the side of the guy. I don't want to go to prison is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but you're right. And maybe, again, that might be a difference between men and women. Like, the idea of having a conversation over a drink or a meal with an 18-year-old.
Oh, no. I've done college gigs and it's painful.
Imagine.
I can't imagine it in a sexual way.
And, you know what? I can't imagine.
Just be me the whole time being like,
That's stupid. What are you saying?
Don't be yourself. Whatever your mom told you, don't listen. Don't be yourself, sweetie.
Well, when just Vito was telling us how awesome the Power Ranger movie was, what actual MILF would want to put up with that kind of talk?
I stand by my statement.
Yes, I know.
That's the sad part.
I know.
Throw a few beers in there, go see a 10-10 show at the Regal Union Square with your friends. It's a great night out.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
It's also on his OkCupid profile.
By the way, I was saying I can't imagine the circumstance of having to talk to an 18-year-old, but it actually happens more often than you would think because I'm short. The amount of guys, boys in my neighborhood around like Brooklyn will come up to me and be like, what school you go to? Like, I'm not in any school. Like, there's not a school for
Homeschooled then?
someone my age. Like, I'm so beyond out of school. I can't even explain it to you. And I had a kid actually follow me to the bathroom during a movie. He followed me out of the movie theater, and it was Django Unchained. And he was like, pretty good movie, right? Like, I really like Django. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm an adult. And he was just like, yeah, I'm thinking about telling my friends to start calling me Django because he's kind of a badass. And I'm like, okay, I'm an adult woman. And he's just like, so you go to school around here? I'm like, no, I'm an adult. I'm literally an adult woman. I'm just really short.
Should give Django a chance.
Django, leave me alone. We're only 30 minutes into this movie. And you're like, yeah, Django's pretty much a badass. I'm going to tell my friends to call me Django, which never works, by the way. Yeah. You don't get to pick your nickname.
No, you never get to pick your nickname.
Hey, guys, I just recently saw this film, Django Unchained. Don't you think I'm kind of a Django?
Yeah, that's you, man. You're Django.
So I'm assuming he was like 15?
He had to be like 16, 15, 16, 17, somewhere in there.
Yeah. I mean, I've had a couple of kids come up to me after a show and me just kind of slide my ID across the table, like just so you know what you're getting yourself into. But it's the same thing. I put my hair in braids a lot as well, and then I wear a backpack everywhere I go. Yep. So I really do. Like, I can't see how many times like somebody will ask me a question on the subway, and I'll be like, oh yeah, it's the next stop, and they'll be like, oh, and I have a paper calendar because I'm like 40. Like, I can't let go. I cannot let go of my paper calendar. I've tried to be, I've tried to do it like digitally. My whole entire family, I'm just like, I can't. So I have a paper calendar. I look like this, and people will be like, oh, where do you go to school? And I'm like, I don't even want to tell you how old I am. It's embarrassing.
Are you forever carded because of your height? Do you get carded a lot?
I do. I mean, two things happen to me all the time. I get carded pretty much everywhere I go, and they stare at it for a long time. I also still have my youthful acne. And then
that helps stuff.
It does. When you still have acne at 31, people are forever just like, oh, that's not the way you wanted youth to continue on in your face, but it's fine. But the other thing is, crap. I don't even know what I was going to say. There's another thing that
there's like, someone always looks at your ID, and then there was like another aspect of it. I'll tell you the worst experience I ever had with being carded. It was like not too long ago, and I was out at a bar with my boyfriend. And again, this is like I have my backpack on because I've come from work, and I'm short, and I'm grabbing a table, and I can hear my boyfriend's at the bar, and he's ordering drinks, and she's like, "No, I'm sorry, I'm going to need to see her ID." And so I'm used to it. I'm like, okay, whatever. And I'm grabbing my wallet out of my bag. And I turn around and she goes, oh, no, that's fine. I'm like, you bitch! You need to continue to look at the ID. You can't look at my fucking face and be like, ooh, yikes, that is not a teenager.
Yeah,
that's so fucking rude. And I was just like, by the way, you should still look at this. You should have followed through. That was fucked up.
And then act surprised, and then it'll be fun for everyone.
Exactly. Then no one's insulted.
Liz Miele's in studio. Liz's new album, Mind Over Melee, is available now in stores and online. It's premiering right here on Raw Dog at 3 p.m. right after Bennington. And Liz will be having an album release party tonight at 9:15 p.m. at New York Comedy Club. Go to newyorkcomedyclub.com.
Now, what happens at the album release party?
I mean, it's more an album release show. It's just like a showcase show with my friends. So it's like Carmen Lynch, Adrienne Appalucci.
Love Adrienne.
Oh, she's the best. I honestly think she's like the best writer in the city. Like,
she's unbelievable writer.
Yeah, she's incredible. And Justy Dodge, Justin Herman, Nori Davis was supposed to be on the show, but he ended up getting a college gig. So DC Benny's taken jumping in there, and then Michael Brigante. It's just like a fun show. I mean, I'm doing like 20 minutes at the end of all new stuff, which I'm excited about. So nothing's on either of the albums.
Nothing can be on the album, yeah.
Because I came back, so I did the Fringe Festival, and I was in Europe for almost 4 months, and I came back after doing that hour 25 times. Like, I've never wanted those words in my mouth again. So I came back and I just bombed pretty much for like a month straight, just working on like 10 new minutes. And then that 10 new minutes started to come together, and I've just kind of built off that. So like if I do a longer set, like I was doing, I was opening for a friend of mine in Sacramento. So I was doing like half-hour sets. Oh, it'll be like a mix of old and new. But for the most part, I try to just do all my new stuff. I think that's why I do write a lot, because after a while, you're just like, it doesn't even feel like me anymore. So I like to put it on an album. You can go enjoy the hits of me and then go and work on new stuff. because otherwise I'm just going to be, and you can see it. You can even almost see when I'm doing, sometimes the new stuff might add on to the older stuff and it'll kind of rejuvenate it. But sometimes you can just see how I'm reciting words and then how I'm performing words. You can see the difference of it.
So your whole attitude just changes. You're like, this is all exciting, and here's some stuff I know that works for everybody.
A little bit. It's weird.
Yeah.
And I don't like that I do that, but it does. It gets a little bit like a job after a while. So I try to always be excited about my stuff. So like I said, I can kind of make older stuff more exciting if I make a new chunk out of the new stuff. But sometimes you're like, I know this is going to work. And if it doesn't work, you're like, well, you guys are the worst.
Yeah. Here's some stuff that's tried and true. So enjoy it. I'm going to go away in my mind right now.
But it's kind of exciting to do a show and be like, this is technically what would be my third hour. Mm-hmm. Enjoy the preview.
Right.
And if you didn't like it, the stuff on my album's way better.
But it's ballsy to go back and bomb for a while too, you know?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think I'm not scared of bombing. I think I'm more scared of not saying anything. So I'm fine with bombing and it not connecting. I am scared that I'll just keep saying the same stuff over and over again, or I'll say stuff that I know works, but it doesn't feel like anything. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So even right now I have a new joke that's doing well, but I don't like it. I'm not saying exactly what I want to be saying. So it's I now have to kind of trim it down and kind of restart it and try to fix it and figure out why it took a direction that I'm not excited about. So it's weird when you can get something to work and it gets a reaction, but
you're like, no.
Yeah, I don't feel anything.
That's interesting to me. Because there are obviously people do things differently, but there are comedians who have an idea, and if it doesn't work, they rework it, they edit it, and then I think, I've heard from comics if I know immediately something doesn't work. You know what I mean? That's got to be an entirely different process. People who are able to revise stuff that you think is funny.
But also that you can get a laugh with something that you're not happy about, that you're not proud of,
right?
That you don't want to represent
the cheap pop.
Well, to other people it may not be cheap, but to you it feels.
Or it's just not saying what I want to be saying. So the joke I'm working on right now is, so I have a boyfriend, which I haven't had in many, many years. So even as I say that, I'm just pretty sure it's my boyfriend. But he came to visit me in LA, and immediately because I haven't had a boyfriend or a relationship in 2 years, I'm out of boyfriend shape. So it's this idea that he came to go visit me while I was in LA for a couple of weeks, and all of a sudden he was indecisive about an Airbnb, and he was kind of asking too many questions, and I was overwhelmed because I was doing meetings during the day and at shows, and I found myself getting kind of testy with him and kind of whatever. And so the joke right now is just about how I'm not good at relationships, and I get a laugh at kind of being self-deprecating, and I don't want to laugh at the fact that he can't make a decision, which he cannot. But I find myself not saying exactly what I want to be saying. So each time I do it, it does well enough, but it somehow has taken a direction that I'm not excited about.
Right.
So it's that weird thing where each time I do it, I'm weirdly getting further and further away from the point I want to make, but I don't actually know the point I want to make.
Because originally the idea was not a self-deprecating joke in your mind.
It wasn't. It was basically I wasn't trying to be self-deprecating as much as I was trying to say, I haven't done this in a while. And just not going to the gym for a while, or just not doing it, drawing for a while, whatever the activity is. If you don't do it for a while, you might have a little bit of muscle memory, but you're mostly starting over. And so it's just why don't we see relationships like that? So it's I remember being a decent girlfriend, maybe not the best because they all didn't work out, but I want to do something with what is it to be dating as an adult, and what is it to be dating when you haven't done it in a while? Because a lot of my friends, I have a friend that just got engaged. She hadn't been in a relationship in 8 years. And I'm just that's pretty, when you've spent your whole life taking care of yourself and then all of a sudden you're responsible to somebody else.
Yeah.
It's it's hard, to be I got a gig on Valentine's Day, and he kept asking me, what do you want to do for Valentine's Day? I was nothing. I want to do nothing. I was just I want to spend time with you, but it's because I like spending time, but I don't want to do anything. And then the day before, I got a gig at Stand Up New York, and I was it's holiday pay. Can I do it? And he was fine with it, but it was even that asking, because if he said no, I'm ooh, how would I have handled that? I don't know, because I know me doing spots and breaking plans was a problem in my relationships earlier. Yeah. So I don't want to keep repeating the same mistakes. So for me, the joke is about how do you get better at something that most people don't consider a skill, if that makes sense.
And
right.
And for him, was he interested in comedy? How do you think he views what you do?
Well, he's a writer producer for comedy shows, so I think he gets it. But I think that nightlife, like I've dated both comics and I've dated non-comics, and like even the comics, like you're not a regular girl. So even when they do comedy yourself, the fact that this thing often takes a priority has caused a lot of problems. I have not been in town not been in town for a couple of weeks or haven't been home a weekend in almost 3 months. Yeah. And then I'm going to be in Europe all of April. So it's like even this relationship where I'm just like, hey, you want to go hang out you want to go to a party and invite me and, show off your girlfriend, and she's not there. Like I become a mystery in most relationships because I'm never around. So like my dated a guy that was an actor for like a year and a half, and I could see it start to bother him when he would invite me to shows and I'm like, I have a show, and he'd invite me to hang out with his friends and I'm like, I have a show. Like it's this thing where I either leave parties early or I can't show up at a mall, and all of a sudden you start to forget that people like you as a person, but they also like what you represent, and to not be that person. You know what I mean? Like I honestly, to have a boyfriend is like, oh, maybe somebody will go to a wedding with me. Like that starts to be a thing where it's like, I would like to not go to weddings by myself. And so you have to forget that, not to say that you as a person are a prop, but you start to become a little bit of a prop a little bit. And when you when you don't fill that void, what is that? It causes problems. So like, it's kind of trying to fix that, but I can't completely fix it because I'm not here all the time. And then also I'm kind of crazy.
But it also, that's the thing of like being away means that you don't have to.
Yeah, but I think, in some ways, I also know in the past, comedy trumped everything. And I think as I get older, I still have money problems here and there, but I'm less scared that I can't find the money or find a gig to fix it. And I've learned now to ask, is this important to you? Which before, I never even, it sounds silly, I clearly it was selfish, but I didn't see it as selfish because it was my job. But like now I can be like, is this important to you? So like if Valentine's Day isn't important to you and it's not important to me, then I'm not going to take priority. But if your birthday or going to some dinner your mom has or whatever, if you tell me it's important, I'll make it work. And I wasn't like that even a couple of years ago. Right. And not even in like a shitty way. It's just I couldn't see past comedy. Like it was like, even to the point where like my therapist is like, most people in my office cry about boys. You've never cried about boys, but you have cried about bookers more than anybody. Like, you know what I mean?
It's not fair. I don't know what I have to do.
Comedy has broken my heart way more than any boy has. So it's like starting to see, as I've gotten older, realize that I have the same priority I put into comedy. If I want to be in a relationship and connect with people, I have to do that as well. But it doesn't come natural to me because my family wasn't like that. So it's like weird.
Yeah, I get it, but don't you even think that's almost like a masculine way of looking at it? Like men obviously put their work first, and women understand that, but we don't understand that about women when the woman puts the work first. We can even say, "Oh, I'm very supportive," but we're not. We're not really supportive.
Yeah, it is weird. I mean, I can see it in my father. My father raised me to be independent, work hard, do everything. But like, if my comedy conflicts with something that he needs me to come home to help my mom or something like that, all of a sudden he's just like, you'll figure it out. No, they're paying me money and I'm in California. Right. So I'm not coming. Like I can't, like it's always this like, don't show up late, always be 100%. But if it somehow affects his schedule, all of a sudden everything I do. And so a little bit like that. It is kind of a little bit like that in relationships.
And I bet that is one of those things that it probably starts as interesting. Like if a man says, oh, this woman has a really interesting job and it's creative. But then when it gets to be serious, I think that there is something hard to shake even generations, after that becomes the norm of women working. It still seems to be something kind of dormant where a guy's like, yeah, but the home is pretty important.
Yeah. This bacon isn't going to fry itself, girl. But yeah, no, I definitely, in the beginning, everybody's super supportive. And then things get serious. And then I'm just not around. Like, and texting and FaceTime and all that stuff has made things easier. But again, it's like, that same thing. You go to a party. Where's your girlfriend? Oh, she's in Sacramento. Oh, where's your girlfriend? She's in blah, blah, blah. And it becomes, it starts to weigh on them. And I've started to realize it, like even my boyfriend now is like, this is why I don't get into long distance relationships. And I was like, oh, we are kind of having one, even though we live close to each other.
Right.
So
every relationship you have is going to be long distance because you travel.
Yeah, a little bit. And so like I have moments where I don't travel as much and blah, blah, blah. But like even working nights and weekends. So even when I'm in the city, I'm doing spots most nights. And again, I've now learned, like before when you're just trying to get good at this, every show takes a priority, whether there's 4 people going to be in the audience or 1,000 people. But now it's like, unless I'm really getting ready for something, I'll cancel stuff. I used to never cancel stuff. Like it would cause me pain to cancel. And now I can be like, this would make this, and for friends too. Like I don't know. I've become a better friend and a better girlfriend and like a less, it's weird. I can't say the word selfish because I never felt selfish because I was always emotionally there for people, but I can see how my actions definitely hurt people over the years. And so that's like kind of where that joke is kind of going, which is like, I wasn't good at this. And just like you have to just like bombing for 10 minutes for a couple of months to try to make these jokes good, I feel like you have to bomb in relationships to get better at them. Like you can't just practice, you can practice kissing a pillow for as much as you want, but they're not lips. So it's like, I feel like I'm practicing being in a relationship as it's happening. And of course I care about this dude. So I'm like, I hope I don't suck at this.
Now, also looking just to see the difference between Liz and Chris, because he's not thinking about any of these things. You know what I mean? Like, you came out of this, which was the relationship that you thought was going to last forever.
Yes.
And you've learned nothing out of it.
No.
And
I'm a selfish drunk. I learned that.
Working towards trying to do better the next time.
No, not at all. No, I'm just jumping from one
hoping
woman
one of
to
these
another.
girls will turn into a relationship for you, though?
I don't want to be in a relationship. It's the last thing I want right now. And I don't know for how long.
So you're only interested in sleeping, which is fine. You're interested in sleeping with people right now.
Yeah, if I like the person, sure. But I don't want to be in a serious relationship.
So
you were in a serious relationship.
Yeah.
You said you loved her every time it came.
Oh yeah, I did, yeah. And but no, that's way over. No, I just want to
be
on my
though.
lonesome.
I've gone through relationships and I'm like, I'm going to take a year off. But like,
well, he has taken a year off and now you're just dating boy.
Yeah.
But you don't know whether you ever want to be in a relationship again.
Yeah, as of right now, if you ask me right now, no, I don't.
And you don't want to take any personal responsibility or growth. Which is fine.
Yeah,
you know
I don't
what I mean?
anything wrong with that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Especially if you're honest about it up front. You're like,
he's very
How
honest.
old are you? Like, are you going on dates with people who are looking for a partner?
That one girl lost her mind when he...
Yeah. Well, she lost her... No, she lost... Like, everything was going fine for like a month. I was seeing the same girl. But I was seeing other girls at the same time. Whatever. But she went fucking crazy one weekend. I was like, I can't do this. And I thought that was very fucking responsible of me. Like, she was fucking nuts. And I was like, look, I don't want to stay here and be
she
fucking
thought
crazy.
You guys were a couple.
She thought we were in a loose relationship. But
I mean, that's kind of on her. I mean,
thank you.
The reason why she thought this is that they had sex 24 times. Now, a lot of women are going to start and think, oh, this means something.
I get
21,
that.
22.
It's like, we're in our 20s now.
I like how
This is serious.
Yeah.
I get that, but I think it's your responsibility to have the conversation. Like, they're not fun conversations.
No.
But like, so the guy that I'm seeing, like 2 months in, he kind of was like, he started getting a little distant and he had a job that was killing him, like this freelance job. And so he kind of was weird. And one night I was just like, if this is just sex to you, I'm not interested.
Right.
And he basically was like, I like you. I think you're amazing, but I don't know if I want to be in a relationship. And I kind of was like, oh. And then the next day I wrote him an email and I was like, if that's how you feel, I'm out. And so he's like, can I think about this? And a couple days later, he's like, yeah, I don't think I want to be in a relationship. I was like, cool. Well, if you change your mind and I'm around, let's try again. But if not, I was like, I want to be in a relationship. I haven't been in one in years. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like he was awesome. And I told him he was awesome, but not awesome enough for me to feel like shit every day because this guy doesn't want to even try. So we took like 3 weeks off. He texted me every day, even though I told him not to. And then finally he like pissed me off another day and I was like, why don't you just leave me the fuck alone? And then he sent me a meme being like, I'm stupid. Will you go on a date with me? And now he's my boy toy.
Oh.
But it was probably the best. I've never, because I've had people put me in the hip pocket before, which is just like, you're great, but I'm not sure what I want to do and and you're just like, I'm so charming. He'll come around. And then you just kind of like, you just don't feel good. But it was the first time that I stated that this is actually what I want, because I've also been the same person that's like, I don't know if I want to be in a relationship. I don't know if I want to commit, because I I always felt like I was made to feel bad about my lifestyle. And now as I've learned to kind of make some compromises and figure out what are my priorities, and I am older. I don't know if I want to get married and have kids and all that stuff. Like that hasn't really changed, but I do know that I want a partner. I want somebody that knows that I got home safe. I want somebody that cares that I got home safe. You know what I mean? So it was like the first time that I actually told somebody, like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to play this game where I'm just like, oh my God, you're so cute.
Liz Miele's in studio. Liz's album, Mind Over Melee, is available now in stores and online. It's premiering here on Raw Dog at 3 p.m. And she's having her album release show tonight at 9:15 p.m. at New York Comedy Club. Go to newyorkcomedyclub.com for tickets. Carmen Lynch, Adrian Iapolucci, Justin Herman, DC Benny, they'll all be performing tonight.
We need to break, Chris?
We should break one more time. Yeah.
We're going to break right now. You can hang out, Liz, until your big album comes on at 3 o'clock. We'll be right back. It's Bennington.
Welcome back to Bennington. Liz Miele's in studio. Her album, Mind Over Melee, her new album, Mind Over Melee, is available now in stores and online. It's premiering right here on Raw Dog at 3 p.m. And her album release...
Exciting!
And her album release show is happening tonight at 9:15 p.m. at the New York Comedy Club. Go to newyorkcomedyclub.com for tickets.
Liz was just telling us that she has an elderly person's grasp of computers and phones.
It's 100% true.
Yeah.
Like I can do basic stuff, but like the difference between like me and my brother who's 10 years younger, like it's ridiculous how like my mom barely can pick up her phone. Like that's where my mom is. I'm a little bit past that. But I was just telling Chris, like, me and Harry Kondabolo were thinking about like getting a joint intern. Just somebody to teach me how to be better at what I'm doing. Like, I don't have so much work. It's just like, cause you want to be focusing on like writing stuff or whatever, but like we were both in a cafe yesterday at a coffee shop, had writing we had to do, but we're both like putting in emails for our mailing list and trying to like figure out how to like my newsletters. Like I'm dyslexic. I shouldn't be allowed to write letters to anybody. Like it's not okay. Cause every time I get these newsletters back and they're like, this is spelled wrong and this doesn't make sense. And I read it like 6 times. So it's like me being dyslexic and me not really knowing how to like format stuff. And like if I have one thing that trips me up, cause I'm supposed to be sending out my newsletter once a month. I send it out like maybe 4 times a year because something will happen that'll piss me off. I don't know how to fix it and I like throw my computer away and then I just don't do it. So if I had somebody that kind of made my life a little easier or maybe taught me how to fish a computer, whatever the saying is.
I think I probably use 3% of the capabilities of anything that I have. You know what I mean? Like my phone is more of a phone than anything else.
It's your phone clock.
Yeah, it's my phone clock text sometimes. But I don't, you know, when people go, you gotta have this app, I go, I don't want that app. And they go, why? And I go, want to slow my phone down? I don't want to slow my phone down.
They'll make your life better, these apps.
But, you know, it was interesting you saying that the difference between you and your brother who's so much younger, or like 10 years younger, that's not that much in the grand scheme of things, that they're saying that generation gap of technology is like the smallest it's ever been.
Right.
Where, like for me, it's like the internet came about during when I was young. Mm-hmm. The text messaging became like a thing when I was in college. Smartphones didn't exist yet. But for kids who are not that much younger, who's just like, that's the way life was, is going to be their knowledge of technology and their way they interact with it is going to be vastly different.
They have like a base level. Like that's the thing is I don't have this base level of knowledge. So like, you know how like you skip like a couple math classes and then you just fail the rest of the course because you missed all the base stuff. That's how I feel with phones because it's the same thing. Like I had a phone when I was 15, but it was like to call if I was going to like die somewhere. And then I remember when I was in college, people could text me, but I couldn't text back. And I couldn't figure out why I couldn't text. And it was just because my phone wasn't capable. And then I didn't have a smartphone until like 4 years ago. Like I still had like just like, it was like one where you could kind of text easier, but I was just like, why do I need this? But then I started losing gigs because really it's like somebody texts you, can you do this gig? Or somebody emails you or
they expect immediately to hear back.
Have you ever had somebody be like, oh, I filled it? And you're like, that was 45 minutes ago. Like, I could have been on the train. That's crazy. So because I started missing gigs, that's the only reason I got a smartphone is so I could like, but now it takes over your life. Like I've had to make it so the alerts, like the tweets and all that stuff, like I don't, like I'll look and I'll respond to people. Like I think it's important to be like, thank you so much and da-da-da-da.
Right.
But like this, like you turn your phone over and it's like doof, 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 doof. And you're like, I will never leave the house. This is so overwhelming.
Yeah. But it's that way with every job. Like everyone, no matter what their profession, is supposed to be in contact at all times now. So that's like one of those things where like it never, like the work, because of that, the workday never ends, and that
it never ends.
And it wasn't like that before. And then you hear people complaining like, oh, people are, using their Facebook or their Twitter at work. And it's like, well, that's because they're always at work. So you're going to have times where somebody is at work,
like take a break.
Yeah, ordering something online, because later when they could have been doing that, they're also going to be answering work emails.
But you're right. If somebody would have called you at your home, it was like a big deal. Like if work called and said, look, something is going on tomorrow. And you're like, well, tell me about that tomorrow. Not here at my home.
Yeah.
Where my wife sleeps, where my children come to play with their toys. It was considered rude for the work to call home. But now it's like, bing, hey, you guys, don't forget the thing tomorrow. And you're like, what the fuck's that got to do with now?
Yeah, it's really weird. And then the first professional job I ever had, it was not necessarily, like smartphones were not at the level they were. Like some people had them, but most people didn't. And they gave, at work, everyone got a work BlackBerry. And I was like, this is incredibly insulting. Like I thought it was so disgusting. And little did I know, a year, 2 years, 3 years later, that's not going to be weird. But I was like, it's sick. And they actually, there was a company policy about it where it's like, if it is during work hours and someone of authority sends you an email, you have a good 15-20 minutes to respond. If it is after work hours, it's 1 hour, and if it's a weekend, it's 2 hours.
What?
And you're like, no, like what? Like I was like, that is disgusting. And now that's the standard. I think that would be the standard. It's
considered odd. It's considered odd if somebody doesn't get back to you.
Yeah,
but that's even personally. Like I know so many parents that are like, "Are you dead?" And you're like, "No, I'm showering. I was taking a shower."
Yes. And I was telling this when I was like a kid, my parents would not know where I was.
For like days.
As a little kid, yes. For days. Me and my friends would go down to the shore, and my parents would say goodbye. And then they go, when are you coming back? And I said, probably Sunday, but maybe Monday or so. And they weren't concerned.
Right. They probably wouldn't be concerned until Tuesday or Wednesday.
Right.
And then they're like, Jesus, you said Sunday or Monday.
I hope you got extra underwear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we did not sit around. We weren't worried that people made it home okay. I think we assumed that everybody was okay for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why we did that.
And now I know for a fact that I do the exact opposite. Like I assume everyone's not okay.
Right.
And it will only be confirmed when I know that they have got back to me. So like on a personal level, I have done this before where it's like Chris Stanley, somebody doesn't get back to me within a couple of hours.
Disappears all weekend, and we think that he's dead because he doesn't have.
And then I call him and I'm like, he's dead. I know he's dead because I have a feeling about it. And
you don't need to worry about me. All right, I'm the last person.
I mean, now I worry about
the opposite. We do, because you go to the hospital
once
and you don't.
Yeah, and that's all I need for post-traumatic stress. Once. He says once. And because one time I was right. I said, I have a bad feeling about this. We put him in a cab and he was in fact in a hospital.
What?
Yes.
I woke up in the hospital.
He drank 2 bottles of vodka.
To the head,
I'm learning so much. And I'm concerned now.
Yeah.
Don't be.
So I like the idea that every day we all three of us text them. We're just like, Christopher, if you could just put a pin in where you are.
You also look like sleep apnea. So that's a worry.
It was sleep that killed him. It was
snoring
sleep.
problem, sure.
But I don't even know who would bury you. You don't have a single person.
No, maybe Radu, my super.
It would be us.
It would be us and your super
Radu.
figuring out to do with you.
He has a podcast, the Radu Cast.
I think the government will take care of that. They'll just cremate me, right? I mean, that's pretty
You'll
easy.
go to Potter's Hill.
No.
What's Potter's Hill?
It's a place for people who don't have any.
Unmarked graves.
Unmarked graves, yeah. A mass grave.
A mass grave
in New York City, just a mass grave of homeless people.
I'll just cremate you and put you on my dresser. Is that a compromise? It'll be like that and my cat.
Yeah.
You'll have a nice
Then you
little
got to worry
dresser.
about your
Nice.
cat knocking over you.
Oh no, she'll be dead.
And what are we going to do, like even having a funeral? Well, Chris, he liked to drink, he liked to eat pills, he loved to cuss.
Here's some of his recent escapades, ladies.
I think it's going to be us and maybe some listeners, I think. Like maybe we'll put up a thing, get tickets.
Oh yeah, tickets.
Go to the iBank to get tickets.
Mind that at all.
You guys have my permission.
We'll make it like a thing. You know what I mean? We'll get some like comedian pop-ins.
Oh, that'd be great.
Couple people do sets.
Who would you like to? I mean, your dream would be Segura to come in and do your.
Segura?
He loves Tom Segura.
Tom Segura.
Yeah.
I don't even think I know who that is. It sounds familiar.
He's a very, very funny comedian. And
I do know. I've seen him do storytelling on.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, book Segura for me.
Yeah.
Like a roast over your dead body.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I feel like I'm ready for it.
I can't see us being able to afford Segura. We'll probably get Greg Stone to come in and do it.
This is a good guy.
See if we'll do 5.
We don't have the budget for this. I mean,
I'm not flying Segurian from the coast. Hey, this is very exciting. In a couple of moments, we're going to be listening to Liz's album. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You guys are adorable.
Sophomore album.
And now this goes out to all different kind of platforms too, right?
Yeah, it's on all the things. It's like iTunes and Spotify and Amazon. It's like, that's one of the things you just kind of put it out there. And whenever somebody tells me they listen to it on Pandora, I'm like, thanks for the 32 cents.
Yes.
But honestly, if people listen to my stuff, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's low expectations, but I just get excited that people like what I do. I don't know.
Well, it's out there and that thing is captured on. Where did you record this at?
I recorded it in London at this place called the Museum of Comedy.
Uh-huh.
So it was actually just supposed to be a preview. And then, like I said, I became so sick of my material that I knew I was just going to recite it. So I took this hour. And so there's a couple of tags that are missing because I developed it a little bit more when I was at the Fringe. But I was so excited. Like you can hear that I was excited to tell that hour. And there was a couple of lines I wrote right before the show that worked. And I feel like I can hear myself being like, oh yeah.
That's good.
Okay.
But it fixed a couple of jokes and it just popped in a way that I was excited. And I remember, it's very rare I get off stage and I was like, oh, that was really good. But I remembered feeling that way. So when I was thinking about, should I re-record this? Should I do it here? Whatever. I was like, you know what? I feel good about this hour. So I feel lucky that it was captured.
Isn't that funny that it's so rare that you go, I feel good about that? And people always say like, what was your favorite radio show? I go, I haven't done one yet that I really liked. No, I've never done one show I'd listen to again. All right, Christopher.
Yes.
That's it. We're wrapping this up. Another plug, please.
Liz Miele's been in the studio. His album, Mind Over Melee, is available now in stores and online. It will be premiering right here on Raw Dog in just a few minutes. And Liz is having an album release show tonight at 9:15 p.m. at New York Comedy Club. On the show will be Liz Miele, Carmen Lynch, Adrian Appalucci, Justin Herman, DC Benny. Go to NewYorkComedyClub.com for tickets. And Liz will be headlining the Rockwell in Somerville, Massachusetts, Thursday, May 11th at 8 p.m. Go to therockwell.org for tickets and on Twitter at Liz Miele.
All right, that's it for us, guys. We'll see you all again in 1974.
Ladies and gentlemen, the evening is over. We hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you all again in 1974.